Welcome to the show. All things Bulldogs. Here we go, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Blue and white pride. Bulldogs for life. Dog father here. Gas by my side.
G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, and your camera looks great now, Gas. It's fixed. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are we, everyone?
I'm really good. So, Gas is like back in the old days when if you stood in a certain part of the room, the picture would be clear, but if you move slightly, the picture would go fuzzy. So you can't move. Don't move too much, Gas. Welcome to All Things Bulldogs, everybody. Great to see you all here on a Tuesday night, Team Tuesday. We'll wait for a few more people to come on, but quite a bit to look at. We'll go through the team, obviously. We'll let you know if you've been coming here watching, we'll tell you the 16 players that'll play, and then it'll be down to the other three on who gets that fourth spot. So I'll just make sure we've got the right team list up at the moment. There'll be a bunch of historical stats we'll go through as well and show you. They'll be scrolling across the bottom at different times. And we're also going to take a bit of a look into the future. So I know a lot of people talk about our strengths and our weaknesses. You know, people say we're too slow this and we're too small that and that sort of things. But look, there are handicaps in the way that we play that limit us in some areas, but we really play a pretty solid game plan to play to our strengths, which is the reason we've had a bit of success over the last couple of years. And I'm just going to talk about what the future looks like, or what obviously you can see they're trying to make it look like, which will make us much more of a more threatening side across the park in different areas as we grow and develop those kids. Because everybody in the side at the moment is there for a really specific reason. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it's Team Tuesday, where's all the changes? I said, well, so we'll also talk about, like, who are you supposed to pick and who's fit and who's not, and where is there actually a competition for a spot in first grade right now. It's early in the season, but we've had a lot of injuries to our depth, which does make it harder to actually, put pressure on first grade. So, but all that's coming, guys. The troops are arriving. They're getting ready, and we'll talk about that as well. We're also going to do our spin the wheel if we get the super chats again. Bulldog Mike, he's got a $40 voucher. I've just transferred that to him. So well done to him. And he's going to put that towards one of this year's brand new jerseys that he's been saving up for. So that's going to help him as well. We'll go through some chats and say hello to everyone. Who have we got on there so far, Gas?
Brian's on, mate. He's saying even though we were slightly delayed, it's still better than watching any other podcast where nothing's happening. Thanks, Greg. Brian, hey boys, let's go doggies. Timmy's on. What happened to the church group tonight, mate? Bit early. Good on you, mate. Good evening, legendary champions. Hope my lovely Bulldogs family are well. All pumped for Thursday night. You going out there, Timmy? G'day, Aki.
Oh, Gleno. Haven't seen Gleno before.
Hey, congratulations, mate. Make sure you send us a photo with the new jersey. Amir's asking, do we think our fearless leader is not telling the truth?
Well, unless he just took what we said and tried to bundle that, because Serrato in press conferences says a lot of the stuff that we say here all the time. So we just align with the transparency, guys. And the Foxtel, what was their headline? Gus blames the doctor. He didn't blame anyone. The coach took some advice. Should he have taken the advice? Well, why have professionals if you're not going to listen to them, is what I say. So it's just a cut and dry case, in my opinion. On reflection, though, Critter did look like he was in a lot of pain and was holding his shoulder. So I can understand people who sort of like there was no way he was going to come back. But that's all hindsight as well. Not everyone's thinking the same on that, and everyone can have their opinion on that. But at the end of the day, he put on sauce. He was told there was a chance. He got some advice that he might be able to come back on with it needled up, which a lot of them are. Grade 5 AC joint, though. Doesn't get any sort of worse than that, I don't think. So he did a good job of it.
Yeah, he doesn't take half measures. JPG, what cologne do you guys use?
The one your mum bought me, mate.
Narcisco Rodriguez, thank you. G'day, Andy. How you going, buddy? Rec is optimistic for Thursday. Yeah, mate. It's starting to grow. It's starting to grow. Everyone's getting on board. Yeah, thanks, Mike. G'day, boys. G'day, Amir. How you going, buddy? Timmy, no Bible study tonight during the school holidays. Fair enough, mate. And you'll be at the game. Make sure you come and say hello, buddy. So just usually chill and listen. I'll be happy to jump in.
Glad you're here, mate. Glad you've said hello. Like, we want to feel safe in this environment and make the community bigger and bigger and bigger. But we keep it smaller by design as well. Like, I block so many people. I actually got sent a red version of my logo, basically calling me Hitler and the Gestapo because of my zero tolerance to people hanging shit on our players. People can have opinions all they bloody want, but if you're going to sit there and act like a clown and be a shit caster, I'm going to call it out. Simple as that. You know why? Because there's lots of young kids being influenced to go out there and act like absolute idiots in society because we can't keep it in our pants. And that's it. We all get angry at the TV, and me and Gas we sit there and message each other and Pete and all that, and we're like, oh, this is disgraceful, but then we reflect, we watch it again, and then we come out and look at it, and we keep it calm. That's it. Oh, and Lucas, who paid last week? Who already put money in last week? I got to look at that. Was that Lucas or was that Brian?
You can have a look at that
on Sunday. I'll check it out, but I know we've got $16 to start us off. we get to $100, it'll be a $30 voucher. And the reason that is, guys, is because YouTube's only paying like 51% of whatever you just put in. We might have to start something different. So, like, at least, you know, your hard earneds going the right way, if that makes sense. But
give us
much
hey guys, if we had to do a pay ID, would anyone be up for that? To then maybe make what you're getting back better off? Just a suggestion.
And that also means we can do bigger prizes as well. So you pay the same money, but we can actually give back more. That's all.
That's the idea, guys. Anyway,
so that would just be my phone number.
And then we can have a different way of recognizing everyone's contributions here as well once that comes through.
JPG boy, we might talk about the WARs from time to time, but it's a Bulldogs podcast, brother. But you can learn a lot about your own team watching it.
G'day, Mondioso. Scary
Welcome
game
back
this
to
week.
you, mate.
We've got some faith. Yes.
Keep the faith, mate. Keep the faith.
Let's back our defensive side this week. Put in a great performance. They're due to fail, guys. They're due to fail.
Back our attack.
That's it. They're due to fail. Here's a good comment. That's very, very true, guys. Very true. We've been saying it for a while, and it's getting better. Galvin is playing pretty good. Don't know why people are bagging him. I for one, strongly agree, guys. His effort has been outstanding. And it's also recognised amongst people within the club as well. So had those discussions today. Galvin, they're very, very happy with. So, yes, looking good, guys, on the improve. And he's so fit, he's so durable. Like, he gets hammered, he just keeps bouncing back up, coming back at you again. Amir's asking how we're going to beat Penrith. That's the $1 million question.
We'll talk about that later, brother.
Yep, 100%. That's going to be down the track.
Gas and I are going to put the boots on, bro. We're going to be a late inclusion under the dispensation rule.
That's it. The coach can't win. So many of the haters have been calling for SOS to come in. The coach puts him in. It doesn't work. Then it's why does he do it? It should have been true. 100%, Brian. And there's
thank you for
Brian,
that.
Brian confirming what he's done. There you go.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
So we're $16 there, guys. We get to $130 voucher for the team store. That means we make about $22.
Amir's putting a disclaimer. If he crosses the line, he gets very passionate after a bad loss. Yes,
yeah,
mate.
I won't block you, Amir, but I'll just put you in timeout. That's all.
Simbin, mate. You went to the Simbin the other day, but you came back out. Others didn't make it out, but they were sent off, but you came out, mate, so you were okay.
You made up for your mistake, brother.
There you go, mate. It's all good.
That's it.
It's all good. Look, it's always hard, guys, especially when we do these things right after a game or the day after when it's still very fresh. Everyone's emotions are still pretty raw, so understandable. But just count the 10 before you say what you have to say. That's all we're saying. Lucas can't wait till Thursday. Let's give the Panthers a run for their money. Show them some doggies footy. 100%, mate. Yeah, there you go, mate. Brian's happy to do pay ID.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, mate. Cleary's 200. Oh, I like that. We've been ruining a few of these milestones. We ruined Ricky's milestone. We ruined Papalihi's 300 milestone. So, let's just add another one, guys. Why not? That expectation that he has to win on his 200, that's more pressure from internally. They're doing it to themselves before we even play them. That's good. I like that. All these little things add up.
Before we go to the next one, guys, make sure you go and click the like button if you're on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, YouTube, X. And it really helps out. Let's do it.
Andy said he watched the replay and the Bulldogs were the better team in the first half.
We were.
Yeah, mate.
We had them exactly where we wanted them. We had Latrell and Cody doing tip on plays because they couldn't be stuffed to keep him with the game. You know what I mean? They started. Fafita was, the period of the game where he's dangerous was gone for that first half. So he was just trying to tackle and suck in the big ones, and he's still building himself with his fitness. So he'll get more effective if he sticks at it and sticks with the program there. But yeah, they were starting to fatigue, and I believe we go and win by 20 in that second half without a problem. We had them exactly where we wanted them. I don't understand why people were saying that our I know they got round us a couple of times, and I saw our edge was, when they said Montoya got beaten on the edge, that's because we just all shrunk up and something went wrong there on that right edge. But they threw a forward pass. They're always going to beat our right edge at one point. Of course they were. But I think the left edge is where they made a lot of inroads and in that second half. So anyway, we talked enough about South.
Mondioso agrees, loves his Bulldogs, and that small percentage of idiot fans that make us look bad. Death threats are never on. You look like a dickhead, like all those para fans that wanted to fight the Tigers. Come out to the car park. 100%.
I think they didn't want to fight him. They were just egging them on because they know they can't do anything. It's like Reed Marnie knows he's not going to get his face punched in when he goes and takes people on. It's a similar sort of thing, but I don't mind a bit of that, to be honest. It's more our own fans screaming at the top of their lungs. One week, they scream like they're the biggest supporter in the world, and then the next week they outrage harder than anyone else and change narratives to suit themselves.
I was out at the training today, guys. There wasn't anyone else there, and there was no recordings or anything done. It was a closed session. But I had a chat with a few players, and some of the players I know very well, and we were all in agreement. We were going, guys, we were all incredulous. What's going on with these supporters? After one loss, they basically started. Like, they were saying the same thing. Like, what's going on? Why are the players? Why are the people doing this? Like, it's just not fair. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to mention who these players were, but they were saying that it's. I was saying to them like the same thing. Said, guys, we're on this podcast and we're doing all these things, and we've been I think Michael's been culling 30, 40, 50 people. He's at the block because of their nuisance.
I'm just gonna skip ahead there and speak to Big Roo, mate. Big Roo's been a big supporter, and he keeps it pretty simple, and he's had a gutful. He's not feeling good about the situation. I'm not going to put up his other crap, actually. They're not a shit team, mate. It's 5 rounds. And I'm going to say something, mate. We're just as impatient as you are at the end of the day. We wanted a premiership 15 years ago. We wanted to win 6 of them. You just have to accept reality, bro. I don't know how old you are, Big, but none of us might not see a premiership again. And I'm not saying that because that's how hard they are to win. Honestly, I could see Penrith winning another 10 in a row. They're 10 years ahead of us, and there's nothing through will or hope that's going to make that happen. But all we can do as supporters is cheer the players that they pick each week. And I'll tell you something now. The AI thing that they used on Fox the other day after the game, I didn't watch their after game, but I finally did yesterday. Galvin was 7.69 or something. The next best player was 4.8. So that's rating them across every part of the game, from their support plays to their tackles, their tackle percentage, their ineffective tackles, try assists, kicking, every single thing, decoy runs, the whole lot, put into a score. And see, what they have is they actually have AI watching the whole game. Everything's tracked where they run, and they're trying to use this to build other stats. They want to use it for their gambling agencies to help create more creative ways of getting you to have a punt. All this stuff's interlinked, right? But the second best player, I think, was Tallis Duncan with 4.8. And the third best player and the second best Bulldog was Jamin Salmon, a little bit behind Duncan, based on the AI thing. So it's looking at – so Bailey Hayward is a kid, mate. And if anyone thought that a number 9 was just going to instantly be a 9 and be a successful 9 in one season and one off season, that's why they had to blood him last year. And they knew, like, are we in a premiership window? We want to be. And I'm sure that the coach and the players believe they are. And I believe that too, to an extent. But I know that history says that you've got to have 5 state of origin players in your side, or internationals, or world-class players in your side, a minimum of 5 every year to win a comp. You've also got to have an 80-minute hooker. Sorry, I mean an 80-minute 13 that can ball play. I don't know a team that's won the comp without one in a long time. You've also got to have a world-class spine and halfback. Now, all of these players, out of all these premiership sides, they've either developed these players or got them really young and had them in their system for quite a while, or had the core built around them when they've brought them in. So the Roosters are probably the only team with the way that they're structured that can actually get away with it. But they haven't been able to get away with it for a long time, and they've been turning over some really good players and bringing in some really good players and not getting the success that they want. And they've invested a heap of money into that Gosford Central Coast. They've put a lot of money into resources, into developing kids. They've been developing for quite a while. They've got less juniors. We've only got 13 clubs, 3,000 juniors, give or take every year, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. And balancing that's hard. Balance when they've had a pathway to first grade, made a bit easier by having that salary cap issue that we had where we were paying players to play everywhere else and all that sort of shit. Like, you don't just come back from that overnight. You don't get to start your club again. You have to build it. We're getting our pathways right. And what I'm going to talk about later is when we're winning comps, we're not going to have a Salmon and a Man sharing that 13 role. And when you don't have to do that, you get to evolve other things. We're going to have a 7 that plays both sides of the field, can kick short, can kick long, can make tackles, can do all of that. We're going to have to develop that. We're going to have a fullback that can break the line as well as anticipate danger way before it happens and make numerous try-saving tackles and turn those saves into 12-point differences when we go up the other end and score, right? We can just will it and hope it to happen, but it's not gonna. And we keep talking about our attack. What, we had the 7th best attack last year. What about the other 12 sides that finished behind us, or 11 sides, or 10, or whatever it is? No one's talking about that. They only talk about us. The Bulldogs attack. Because us as fans have a big carry on. No one carried on about the Warren Ryan's Bulldogs and their attack. It was good sometimes. They were happy to win 4-0. They're happy to win 4-3. 1-0 if they had to. They didn't give a shit. They just win the game. Like, it's all right to be frustrated after a loss. That's fine. That's everyone's prerogative. But don't just sit there and name players and say, sorry, but there's no better option. And we had to let players go because they were bringing our club into disrepute, essentially. All right? You can't keep a hooker at your club that's already chucked a spack because he didn't get what he wanted, and then he's got family members sitting there discrediting his teammate. Now, I'm not saying he told his brother to do that, but that's what happened. And we still understood the situation. They were still nice to him and everything. They were still like, yeah, it's all right. But I know it's a tough thing and you love your brother, or just ignore him or whatever, but they still offered him a deal. He just got a better one from the Cowboys. Now, he went on out that he was an 80-minute player at the Cowboys. I don't know how many 80-minute games he's played at the Cowboys since going there. So they've paid top dollar for a 60-minute hooker. We've got to manage the cap, and Bailey Hayward will be a world-class hooker in a few years. And if he's not, if we develop someone better, they'll take his spot. That's just the way it goes. And they'll keep developing players, and they'll keep buying players. And we'll go back to old mate's comment about, is there someone we need to buy or whatever to improve our team? But that's just what I wanted to say there, mate. Everyone wants to catastrophize and say, oh, you know, you got Scope sitting there going, oh, you know, you could just tell the group are bit fractured and a bit sad, and I've been there, I know what it's like. It's like, I actually believe he's seeing that, because he's actually like looking at Mace, and Mace is probably hurting that the team's not performed the way he wanted them to early in the season and whatever else. But he also gets paid to create these narratives. He gets paid to believe that stuff. It's like that number 23. You see it everywhere once you see it. It's like when you buy a new car. I went and bought me a new car that I got, that I needed for work. Like, I'm paying the bank. I don't own it, paying it off. But now that I see that car absolutely everywhere on the road, right? Never used to see hardly any of them. Now I see them everywhere because I'm looking for them. You know, if I want to sit there and obsess over Salmon, I'm going to watch everything he does wrong. Oh, he's just walked after he did a hit up when everyone else ran. We've got people obsessing over him. It just goes on and on and on. The Galvin stuff, where he's just got hundreds of thousands of people that just literally look at the Bulldogs lose and just look at him and just hate him for existing.
Without knowing why.
Hey?
Just for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's it. They don't care. And they honestly don't care.
No context, no nothing.
It's just troll. You know, they're happy to be trolls with it too, just to say their thing and laugh and yeah, and whatever else. Like, it doesn't matter. A lot of people are just trying to bait you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it. And there's all these people who want to get onto all these groups and tell everyone that the Bulldogs are in disarray, that, you know, there's a lot of people that hated Phil Gould. Yet when I speak about that, you know, there's some individuals who think I'm talking directly to them. I'm talking to a lot of people who think that they can compete with Phil Gould and know more than him. I've got a friend that I respect a lot, and we're discussing that, and he's very passionate, but he does it on his own group. Right? I've never spoke about him before, but I am now. So not on his own group, but on his own Facebook page, to his own friends, he speaks his mind, right? And that's his prerogative. That's fine. Like, but when you go into groups and into public spaces, and you're a grown person, a grown man, and you want to influence the young people on there to carry on like absolute grubs, to me, you either provide facts and provide context, and that's what we want to see. We want to see people actually. Okay, if you're telling me that our 13 isn't the right 13, right? Explain to me what we need and what that person's not doing and what they should be doing. Enlighten us, help us learn as a community, and do it constructively. Just saying he's shit, he does nothing. Do you really think that the coach and all their advisors would keep picking this guy if he wasn't the best available option? Do you really think that? Do you think he's got something in his contract where he has to play, or he's got photos of the coach naked? Like, seriously, when you can't connect that dot, you need, instead of going to some conspiracy theory and some outlandish bullshit, how about you come and ask a few people, just tell them, help me see why Salmon is an important part of the team. Ask someone who knows. Another thing that's really therapeutic, Gas went to the Belmore today. If you're in Sydney, you can get down to Belmore, closed session, you can still walk in there. You're just not allowed to, you just got to keep a low profile and not carry on, right? And be a disturbance. and ask for signatures and whatever. Some players will come up to you, some won't. But that's a real. The more you get closer and get access to players, it's therapeutic because you can. On Easter Sunday, these guys weren't with their families having Easter eggs, right? They were training, laughing, skylarking, in between stuff, running everywhere, smiles on their faces, running hard, all yelling and screaming, calling the plays, getting real serious at times, and then going back to having a bit of fun between drills. Everyone knowing their role, what they've got to do, people playing all different positions. And I'm telling you, they'd rather be there together than they would be at home with their own families and stuff. I'm telling you, that's the love they have for each other. And we have all these people talking about them being fucking, fractured and disharmony. They all feel and support for each other when they don't make the teams and stuff, or if there's people going through stuff. As I keep saying, one of the players might have just had their best friend's mother might have just died. They might have consoled them all night. Like, you don't know this shit. Look at your own lives, look at the mirror, and then apply that to these people. They're just humans. It doesn't matter if they get paid to be superstars. They're not Superman. They're just people. And at the end of the day, they're going to have shit days. They're going to have bad days. They're going to have heaps of good days. And we're going to keep saying this message. And I haven't even talked about the Penrith game yet. And we're then going 30 minutes. Because we have to continually address dickheads in our place. So put it in your pants. Support the club. Once the team's picked, you can't change it. So why sit there and carry on about it? Get behind it and support it. If it doesn't win, know that the club and the coaches are going to hold themselves accountable to improve. And the reason that Serrato has made changes is because he knows his team isn't good enough in certain areas. He's not happy with some things, and he wants them to be great. He doesn't want to just beat Penrith on the off chance that they have a bad day. He wants to beat them when they're at their best. And until we're doing that, we need to get better every single day in every single way. And it doesn't matter if we're nowhere near it. We still have to aim for that and strive for that. And that's what he's doing with every single person in that organisation. Whether and not everyone's on the bus. You never get a situation where everyone's on the bus completely. Never. No club has it. But I can tell you now, Serrato's got there's a lot of people on that bus who would not want to be anywhere else but on that bus. So that's the main thing. And yeah. Anyway, fire up. Thank you, Andy, again. $21. 79 to go.
Did you say there was 16? Did you say there was 16 the other day?
Yeah, 16 plus 5 is 21, isn't it?
No, we had 8 already today as well.
No. We had 8 the other day, and we got 8 today.
8 the other day. Okay,
5,
that's what I was saying. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, brother.
No problem.
No, checks and balances, mate. I love it. I appreciate it. It's good. It's the right thing.
Okay, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track with a few more chats before we get into the Panthers analysis. So you said there was a question before about, do you think they need to buy another player to suit their playing style?
I think there will be someone that we do get, but it's going to depend on. Look, I think there'll be 7 or 8 people that are in our top 30 this year that won't be there next year, and I'm suggesting 5 of those players will be upgraded from within the club, because that's the journey we're on. And hopefully that's the case, because they've been able to earn that and keep themselves fit and hopefully get a taste of the action. And that would potentially leave us with a few players to fill some holes with, which I've got a feeling we won't really know too much about until sort of later in the after the season. So I think there will be I just don't know. I really don't know. I look at a lot of players and go, that player, I'd love that player in my system, but every one of those players, that team's not letting that player go. So.
Like, there's a question there already. Twiddle looked pretty good in his debut. Wouldn't mind seeing him in blue and white. I know every team jumps at a player that has a good game sometimes, guys. I heard mentions the other day of Fletcher Hunt. Oh, he'd look good in the Dogs' colours. Everyone that has a good game always people, let's see them over a course. I'm not saying that he's not a good player. What did he score 4 tries in the Cup the week before? So he looks like a talent. So that's all good. Even one of the podcasters admitted Galvin's been good at 7 and proved him wrong, I'm guessing.
Elmo.
I like that Ciro stuck with Galvin and Bird in the halves. I agree that criticism is unfair and uncalled for. Thanks, Timmy. Heinzie, we need to defend as hard as we've ever defended against Penrith so we don't end up getting slaughtered like Melbourne and Parramatta.
That's it.
Yeah, look, and I think Cleary's won his last 8 in a row against the Dogs. So he's only lost twice against us, and that was a while ago, guys. 2018 and 19, he lost 2 in a row. So it's been a while. Trust the process. Correct. Bulldogs Mike. Not sure of his milestones, mate. But with his strike rate, you'd like to think all of that was happening when he was winning majority. So you'd like to think that was all pretty good.
I'll just flick through those, mate. There you go.
Yeah, no worries, mate. When Galvin fills out, he has the potential to be quite big. He stands as tall as Fafita.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him later.
Yes. Salmon's link passing has been on point.
It was last week. It was last week, definitely.
The first half, the passing was a lot better. Than, you know how we spoke about passing being slightly above, slightly below, slightly behind, slightly in front. The passing was a lot better. You can tell, obviously, they'd sharpened themselves up. It's just the ball handling in the second half when they were chasing points and having the weight of possession against them just cruelled them a bit. So, we had that game until Critter got injured. Didn't handle the change. No, unfortunately, they didn't. But every time you put yourself in that situation, you learn for the next time. So, we've had that situation a few times now. We had it in the game against Melbourne. We lost our centres. But, let's hope now they keep learning from that and get better at that. So, and don't forget, obviously the guy replacing him this week, he's going to be pumped for a big game as well. I feel Galvin played his best game for us on Friday. You can see he was coming into his own there. I know the game didn't pan out in the second half, but, he was really starting to own that possession and the way he was playing. So he was coming.
I just missed that last one too. It's because I moved it.
Yeah, very few times I've been ashamed to be a Dogs fan. Just about every time it's been because of the supporters, not the team. Yeah,
that's 100%. It. It's the fans that get me down, not the team ever. And as I said, once they give up, if they start giving up on the field, and giving up isn't from losing, giving up's when, they just walk everywhere and the whole team just stops moving. That's giving up.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be disappointing, back in the 90s and those days at Belmore when there was always a big fight going on behind the hill. And you'd turn around and then you'd see everyone running back over the hill to go and see the fight. It was like, oh, not again, guys. Like, what's going on?
Amir, when I say they're 10 years ahead of us, I believe they were close to 20 years ahead of us probably 5-6 years ago. And what I mean by that is after we won the comp in 2004, a heap of mistakes were made back then where they kept chasing success. And we had sides that did really well where they went and bought a heap of players and are able to at once. Like, I think they went and bought Kamali and Hannant and Josh Morris and all these players at once. And they went and had great careers and David Staggs, bloody Greg Eastwood, all these fellas who end up doing really good stuff for the club. And we had some periods of juniors through those times that had some good stuff happening, and they invested a fair bit in their Toyota Cup, and they got some kids from elsewhere and stuff. But what happened was once it got to the part where Hasler was brought to the club, and I'm actually not saying it's Hasler's fault. I'm just saying chasing success the wrong way. See, Gus was already realised that you had to get your entire fan base and children in your regions and area obsessed with your own team. And whilst Bulldogs are very good at passing down their colours from generation to generation, what we stopped doing is investing in bringing youngsters into our organisation the same way that used to be done through Bullfrog. Where he would just go and have his scouts out everywhere and go meet people. And see, this is what Phil Gould's really good at, is going and meeting families, and he'll go sit there and have dinner with a 12-year-old and their family. And they might not come to the Bulldogs, but 10 years later, they'll actually know Gus and remember Gus, and they might come to a team he's associated with then, or he might help them with some advice or whatever. He builds all these connections with people and families and all this sort of stuff. And you know, there's thousands of people there who just go on a rhetoric and a narrative, which is most of the time manufactured. Sometimes it's because of him, but what needed to happen at the Bulldogs when he got here needed to happen 20 years ago, right? Where you just got brought in all the latest stuff as far as getting your players' fitness right, getting everything in-house, getting your community around you, getting every kid in the area just in love with your football club and wanting to be the next Hazem El Masri or the next bloody Brent Sherwin or the next Stephen Folkes, next Steve Mortimer, whatever it is. And we didn't branch out our pathways enough, and didn't. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff done, and he talked about a lot of stuff commercially as well that needed to happen. And it's also harder in a not-for-profit that's owned by members, that when a lot of those private members sort of, for boards to actually get elected, they've got to interact with a lot of these people, and sometimes those people can be very influential and force people's hands as well. So there's a lot of stuff in our constitution which makes it hard as well, where our fans think and talk about stuff that a lot of other fans don't. Unfortunately, you know, we're able to draw a line to, you know, the sixth board member is the reason we lost today. You know, shit like that. That's just going a bit wide off. But the point I'm making, Amir, is that we just don't, in every single year group and age group, there is an abundance of kids in the Penrith system, in the Broncos system, which has always been the case for Brisbane. They've actually underperformed a hell of a lot. Because at the end of the day, you can still make mistakes with your recruitment, even if you've got all the juniors there. But what I'll say to you is, how many rugby league teams can you fill with Penrith players since 2017 or 2015? Probably field like 4 or 5 teams in the NRL full of Penrith juniors that would compete and beat other sides. So I reckon they've got park footballers that would make it in some of these teams too, I believe. So, look, there's a lot of depth there, a lot of talent, and they produced it the right way. They created a system where you don't need Phil Gould to be there to be successful, because they made a sustainable framework that works for their area. Now, the Bulldogs framework isn't the same. It's different. And the Roosters is different, but the core thing is we have to develop juniors to take these major spots in our side for us to really be at that elite level, in my opinion. And until we get there, I'm just going to go on the journey. But the good thing about rugby league is as 2005, 2011, you have a team that wins a comp that doesn't align with any other side that's won a comp in the 20 years around it, right? West Tigers didn't have hardly any Origin players or internationals at the time. Benji was still pretty young. Robbie Farah was still pretty young. They were all young. Manly, another side, hardly had any internationals or Origin players in 2011 and won the comp. So you can get an outlier, and hopefully that's the Bulldogs in the next couple of years or this year or whatever. That'd be bloody wonderful. And maybe we will end up with some players in Origin. We beat Penrith this week. We go on a run, smash some teams. Adam O'Brien, suddenly the messiah of our attack, and all things, and everyone forgets and starts becoming the best supporter in the club again instead of taking a dump on the club after a loss. So, yeah, look, it's there's a lot to it, but it comes down to junior development and having the waves of talent coming through your system that's just constantly there. Like, there's not too many clubs who win every single junior grade and the NRL premiership in a season. Like, you're not going to really see that ever again. And that's because they're so far ahead of us. And we've got to get there. That's where we've got to go if we're going to be the best. Does that answer that well enough, Gas? Anything to add?
No, that's it, mate. Even Timmy's added there, mate. I think Mick means that the Panthers' development from football pathways administration is ahead of us and other teams in the comp.
That's an intelligent way to frame it, yes.
And in regards to the other comments you made earlier, well said, Mick, the naysayers can bugger off with their bummer energy.
That's it, brother.
That's it. It made sense to let Reid go at 650 plus and keep Hayward on or around 300. Real Bulldogs don't suck. Thank you, Andy.
That's it.
Question on Harry Hayes by your man D. Is Hayes a certain good play?
Look, Hayes is one which I haven't heard, nor would I reveal anyway, but I think he's playing from my gut. And if he doesn't, Hot Boy will stay in the side. And that's what'll happen. I think Hot Boy would then become the 16th player instead of Hayes like last week. And I think the three players they'll choose from will be O'Sullivan, Turpin, and they'll probably bring Renakama in as the next one. If Hot Boy comes in for Hayes, but if Hayes plays, it'll be Hot Boy, Turpin, and O'Sullivan as the three on the bench that they'll decide from who's going to play, depending on how the game goes. I've got a strong feeling in my gut that if things are going all right with injury and all that sort of stuff, that you'd be expecting Hayward would be making quite a few tackles and might need a break, and Turpin might be one they bring on after about 50 minutes for to play maybe hopefully the rest of the game. They might keep an interchange up for him, and maybe then Bailey will come on again for like a Jamin Salmon or a Kurt Mann. Probably the Kurt Mann interchange when he goes off. He'll come on after about 25. He usually goes off with about 10 to go, 15 to go, sometimes 20 to go. He usually plays about 35 to 40 minutes. And Salmon's been averaging about 50 to 55 this year so far. So, and getting through a mountain of work, mountain of communication, amount of direction. Like we say it every week, though, what his job is, but people only seem to care about look, if you want to really watch rugby league and support your team properly, what do they call it? Super fantasy football. That ruins the game for you, man, because it's got you focusing on the wrong shit. Truly, which makes you hate people more. when they they only need to get one more tackle or one more hit up, and they don't, and then they drop a ball and drop off points, and there's all this sort of stuff. Oh, there you go, Mike. Played his first full game against the Dragons.
And people saying I think he played 80 minutes against the Knights in round 1 as well.
He might have, but he's played a lot of 60. He's played some 65-minute games, and that's the point. Is that he's an 80-minute hooker, but the coach could see that he starts giving away penalties, doing dumb shit. To get his passing goes bad under fatigue, and he's probably got some lessons out of that. So, look, I love Reid Marnie as a player. I think he's an absolute one of the most gutsiest, bravest players I've ever seen on the field in my life. No one dumped Payne Hassan Moses Leota one-on-one last year. You know, Reid Marnie was the only hooker I've seen do that one-on-one. But at the same time, both those times that happened, we conceded points within 2 plays later. So
his minutes for the season, he played 80 against the Knights in round 1. He played 56 against the Tigers, 62 against the Titans, 62 against the Storm, and then 80 against the Dragons.
So there you go.
So yeah.
So the jury's out whether he's an 80-minute hooker still, and
correct, yeah.
Todd Payton's trying to win games of rugby league. So,
well, the other day they were leading by 100, so they didn't have to do any changes.
That's it.
Context.
But when they get in against a good side,
yeah,
how effective over 80 is he going to be?
Well,
maybe for one game.
When they got beat 44-16 by the Tigers, he only played 56 minutes. So
that's it.
Okay.
I think we'll finish between 4th and 9th. It's playing it pretty safe.
We lose Critter and they gain Mitch Kenny. Although their replacement the other day played pretty well, Freddie Lussick. So he had a blinder. They've just got him coming through. They've got depth, mate.
Look, and what I think you might find is Penrith might actually, like when we let some players go, they might actually, to fill some little holes in their depth, might start to pick up a couple of our players. But that's only, the thing is, a lot of our players are going to be increasing value when they leave. And they sort of look for players that are pretty affordable to fill holes in their system, where their juniors might not have the same depth or be quite ready yet. But I think that'll be lesser and lesser of a problem as they go on. But, yeah, I think Freddie Lussick's just one of those players. He goes to Parramatta, he's not that good. Goes to Warriors, he's playing in Webster's system, which is he's basically playing Serrato's system, which Penrith's still playing defensively. So he gets out there, knows how to do things. He fits in easily, and then they tell him how good he is in attack and how much they trust him to get the guys around. He goes out there and does it. You know, he played very well last week. But that's the thing. If we recruited him, what are you recruiting him for? That's what we would get.
We need to get into that 7 to 10 minute grind and make them break. That's what we do best. We need to stop giving penalties. They're killing us. Look, and to be honest, we've had a very good sort of run with penalties this year. We've been pretty disciplined. That game just got out of control in the second half. And if you listen to the press conference by Serraldo, he makes mention of the penalties a few times. And then the last comment he says, just as the press conference is finishing, he goes, I felt like there should have been some penalties also go the other way. So that was his last comment, and then they cut the press conference. That was it. So he didn't want to highlight it too much, but he said it eventually. Like there was a lot of penalties there that could have gone the Dogs' way as well. So And then obviously, when you've got the possession yourself, you're not giving away as many penalties because you don't have, you've got the equal share of the ball. So, so we did get hammered in that game, and we didn't get much our way. I mean, even a blatant penalty, which everybody can agree, was when Latrell Mitchell tomahawked Connor Tracy in the back. Come on. I mean, how was that? I mean, like the only one that stood up to him, like Michael said, was Birdo, and he sort of went up to him and gave him a little push as he was running back. So
sort of laughed at him as well.
There's a lot of things there that got let go in that game, but yeah.
The thing is, Amir, is Penrith are quite happy for teams to go the grind with them.
Yeah, that's right. That's their game, mate. Yeah.
But the difference is that they're very confident in their attack at the moment, and that's what's giving them the edge in that as well, where they're quite happy to chance their arm and then back it up if something goes wrong. Produce your own players. Yeah, look, there's tons of them coming through, but they got to take time. And a lot of ones that we've sort of had on that echelon ready to go have had a lot of setbacks. Mitch Woods, AJ Jones, even Underhill, Jack Todd, numerous. Before that, we had Chris Patolo, who they had a lot of faith in, just kept breaking down.
And then there was other ones that didn't have the patience to wait around and ended up leaving.
Yep. We had Alamotti. Obviously, we have Alamotti, but if he wants to tell the club he can get $600,000 a year for 4 years, when we've just given him 2 games of first grade, that actually came out after the West Tigers game where he had quite a good game with big kick out at Belmore.
That's why they called him Mini Sonny Bill. Remember, that was the plan.
Yeah. And then the next week, he's met with the Cowboys and they're offered him a 4-year deal for $600,000 a year. All after that, we go to Good Friday. We lose one of our wingers to an injury early. We get a sin bin. The Alamotti's forced out onto the wing, and he misses about 77 tackles, and everyone's like, "Oh, how slow is this?" And then the whole club starts turning on him as well, which I used to hate. Like this kid come in for his first. I thought he was good. He was a state of origin under 19. Why have we kept this player? That's what I mean. Like. We were there for all of this shit, guys. Saying, leave Alamotti alone. Yeah, his manager probably did try to get a good deal out of the Dogs. The Dogs said, not yet. We'll see what happens. And they knew his potential. They knew that he was going to be as good as he is. He gets to Penrith.
Same money.
On a really cheap deal. He's had to sort of prove to them everything and put his little fella away and that's it, But Avarillo, like he could get $450,000. We didn't want to pay $450,000 Avarillo when we were going to get Cherry for minimum, just over minimum, and getting Stephen Crichton into the system. Like we just couldn't do it. And I think they even were going to get a $50,000 incentive to keep Avarillo because of the amount of time they'd had him. But even that wasn't enough. And I know Gould would have spoken to Wayne Bennett and made sure he got a good deal. They really like Jake. So did Serrato. I heard that he believed he's going to be a top-class centre. But was he excelling at our defensive system? I'm not sure he was. I felt he got better, and I think he's a pretty good one-on-one defender. He just struggles in no man's land sometimes.
Here's a question for you, mate.
Sorry, mate.
Are there any
100.
players? Heaps. Exactly.
Well, Hughes was a fullback. Jonathan Thurston was a 6. Played 7-6 wherever he wanted. Nathan Cleary was the 6th in Serrato's 2015 champion team. That's produced more NRL games and Origin and international games out of any junior team in existence. And I say that stat without even knowing it for a fact because it's obvious. When you go through that side and then you pull out all these other sides they've made that they've had that have done really well, they're all producing talent across the NRL. So who else is there? There's heaps of them. Daly Cherry Evans was a 5'8". Kieran Foran was a 5'8", but played like a halfback. Didn't matter. Terry Lamb played halfback sometimes.
Yep.
Michael Hagan played centre, 5'8", halfback. There's heaps of them. So don't worry about this Galvin 6 to 7. Galvin's our 7 at the moment. It's going to make him a better player. He's the best option for us at the moment. And when we get a better option, he'll move to another part of our team and be an absolute better player for the whole experience. And, you know, what great lessons he's getting in this side. You know, you want Hayward and Galvin to go out there and play against Cleary and Mitch Kenny and all these other guys this week. It's the best thing for our development and for our club. And if they get annihilated, they get annihilated. I'm sure we don't want that to happen. And I'll give a monologue about that later.
Chipper Cronk played 6. Mitchell Moses played 6.
Mitchell Moses. Luke
Kieran
Brooks.
Foran started as a 6, went to 7.
That's what I said that before, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a
you'll
lot of options.
Were you having a flick through?
A lot of options.
That's it, bro. What are you drinking tonight, Gas?
Couple of things, mate. Cranberry and some pineapple juice. Keep the fluids up. I don't believe in water. Sorry, boys.
Well, Timmy, that's the whole thing. Dean Pay did the best with what he had. But a friend of mine said that he went and saw Dean Pay at some leagues club when he went to Para, and he said something about what about the Bulldogs, Dean? He goes, fuck the Bulldogs, was his response. So obviously there was a bit of bad blood there, but he came back to the Bulldogs years later, and I liked Dean Pay as a player. I liked him as a coach, and I felt we were a very defensive-based side our team was based around what was at our disposal and how we could best win games of rugby league with what we had. And he tried some things too. Like he actually tried things where he put Mbai back to fullback against. I remember they started round one game against Melbourne, and I think we broke Mbai himself. We made like 3 line breaks in the first 10 minutes. I think we ended up losing 36-18 or something, but our attack looked on fire from the get-go. Like he had some stuff. He wasn't a bad coach. He had some stuff there, Timmy. But, you know, through that whole period, we were sitting there hoping New South Wales Cup could win the comp, you know, which is where a lot of our fans their brain still sits, unfortunately.
I think Berto will take over the kicks, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
Yeah. He's next man up. He's got a great record as well. He's next man up. Just needs to kick him a bit more rushed like he did the other day. Struck it clean from the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Next one, buddy.
Are you seeing the first signs of our system working?
It's been working since 2023. They've been clearing out the players that had a real sort of, unfortunately, just weren't right for our system. We've brought players in that weren't right, and we've had to get rid of them. We've brought players in that have just excelled. And that's what it's about. It's about holding everything together. So this is the part I wanted to talk about before we get onto the team itself, is that we need to develop that 13, right? And I think Galvin is that 13. I really do. I think Galvin will be an 80-minute lock in the future. And he'll be your next he's the guy we've got to develop. And it won't be just him. We'll need to develop someone else and some others in a similar framework to come through to match that. It's like Penrith have to develop the next Isaiah Yeo or they will fall down. Their whole rotation and the way they do things rely on it. The ability to attack and play the game that they play is all about not having to compensate for rotations that we have to do just to stay in games, like having a Salmon and a Man play 80 minutes between them and offer the different things that they offer. Salmon comes on, it's all structured, works everywhere, communication, keeps it in check. Hopefully, we're in front or the game's close. Takes energy out of the opposition, puts fatigue into the opposition where we direct the play. Man comes on, he's able to sit there and absolutely hammer blokes. He just goes absolutely nuts, right? Able to change the point of attack. We saw that with that kick. He's going right. He pulls up. He comes back left, gives it to Galvin. Galvin kicks him behind. Him and Tupanua are both running for the ball. That's all effort. That's all effort. That's all alertness. That's all being in the moment. So for people, so look, I love this pack mentality podcast and that and what they stand for, but he comes out and he goes, I'm not seeing the same line speed, and they're talking like an expert. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The line speed's still there. They're still running up in a line defensively. Yeah, they might have, under fatigue, they had 2 people didn't make the line after they had 5 sets out of 25. When Souths complete 16 more sets than the Dogs in a half of football, you get your line speed and that's going to suffer. Sorry. That's not because they're worse or they're more or they're shitter than they were. It's because they dropped the fucking ball and they got penalised 6 times to 1 and gave multiple repeat sets to the opposition that are experienced, cohesive, and desperate to fucking beat us. Like, we manifest for nothing. The other thing we need is a halfback that can kick short, kick long, manage both sides of the ruck. When a fucking second rower runs at them, they put them on their ass. That's the player we've got to develop, who's then going to go out and compete to play in origin games and stuff like that. We have to develop that player. I'm hoping that's Mitch Woods. I'm hoping that's Alex Conti or Joey Tayalpa. We need that fullback who can pass both sides of the ruck, who has the speed to break tackles and the line speed to do it we need centers that can change direction on a dime, right? And that come in and shut plays down and really make teams think about when they go wide that their players are going to get crunched. We need wingers that can compete in the air but also turn and chase, that when you put them into a break, they're able to take advantage of it. But we can't do that at the moment because our wingers need to be forwards and generate second phase play, get us into positions on the field where we need to be. Now, Penrith have a bloke called Brian Toto who can do it both ends, but there's not many Brian Totos out there, right? So you've got to have that balance and mix. That's why Montoya is essential to us. We might lose that little bit on that extra speed that we'd love to have, but we need him as that extra forward for our game plan and system to work. Jethro Rinikama will be almost the same type of player. I just think Rinikama is better at holding his wing in attack, similar to AJ, but he's also got that toughness as well, and I think he'll develop an offload. I think he'll develop all that. He's good in the air, and we're bringing other wingers like that through our system. And probably the other one is that 80-minute or damaging, aggressive middles, and I'm hoping that Finau Latu and AJ Jones are an answer for that, to come in with a Leo Thompson and a King on his way out or whatever, as he gets older. That's where I'm hoping those spots get filled. But it could be down in Harold Matts next year where we get those players emerging. We don't know, right? We hope for that, but those players may not be the guys. And until they are, and we know that for a fact, we've just got to keep getting players that'll do the job and keep us competitive and keep things ticking over and give us fans a lot to cheer about is the ultimate goal. With a lot of ups and a few disappointments along the way, it's all part of the process.
The only thing for me as well is I think that Penrith has done it very well so far. The way that the rules this year have sort of evolved, the game's feels like it's a lot faster. There's a lot more ball in play, etc. A few teams have adjusted to it. Some of them have started off slow and adjusted. I feel like we're still finding it. I think a grinding game like we had in round 1 and round 3 for us suits us. But for those games that start to sort of go a little bit out, I think we're still learning that play and adjusting that into our system as well. So I feel like some of the speed in the game at the moment is, the ball's in play for a lot longer and there's a lot more happening. I think our guys probably are still adapting their system and the way they play and their attack to that as well. And I felt like that second 20 minutes in the first half, we started to play like that a bit as well. And I felt like we started to get that momentum and that role and that way they wanted to play. And like I said on Sunday night, halftime or whatever it was, Saturday night, halftime was the worst thing that could have happened to us. And then obviously the injury straight after halftime. So, yeah, I said still learning, still developing, still bringing those sort of new plays and everything into their systems. But there's a lot more of what they've trained for that they haven't even implemented yet. And like Michael said, you put Leo Thompson in, you put Finau Latu in, and you potentially put AJ Jones in, completely different team again. Completely different team. Mm-hmm. So we become the aggressors and we're on the front foot. And then imagine our backs having that play off that momentum, guys. That's where you're going to start looking. And that's there and it's coming. So Andy's comment last weekend, it proved again that any team can beat anyone on their day. And I've been saying that all year, guys. Anyone can beat anyone. This game, thankfully, with a salary cap system, does level out more often than not. The good teams are still going to be good, but look at Melbourne. They've been consistent up there, and they've had 3 losses in a row. That doesn't mean it's their season, but this season, again and again and again, shows you. Look at the 2 teams that sort of we've lost to, Rabbitohs and Knights, both in the top 4. So different sort of season again, guys. Just got to keep plugging away, and we're going to come good. Just going to keep our positivity around us as well. What do you got there, mate?
I've got this idiot.
Is that our coach? Is that our ref for the week?
Yeah.
Oh, God. And we've lost one.
Sorry, guys.
And we found Michael.
We back?
You're back at your blurry best, mate.
Am I blurry, am I?
Looking good, mate. Looking like something from Days of Our Lives.
All right, buddy.
For all you youngsters, look it up.
So, guys, look, I'm just going to talk about these youngsters. So, AJ Jones is still a fair bit away fitness-wise. But, look, he'll come in as one of the – if we get a couple of injuries and he needs to come in, they'll have him there to play a role for 20 minutes or as long as he can. We go through it's Connor Tracy, Dylan Edwards, Carraz and Jenkins, Anari Tuala, Paul Alamotti, Casey McLean will be going up against Anari Tuala. McLean has been pretty sensational this year, I must say, and he scares the shit out of me. Brian To'o plays well every game. Montoya, I feel, has been very consistent for us in many ways and done a lot of good stuff. Blaze Talangi, obviously a better player than he was last year. Really scored on us twice last year. Tracy with those great try-saving tackles. Birdo and Galvin, Nathan Cleary, who he's played 200 games of NRL, guys. How old is he? 28? 27, 28?
So, yeah.
He still hasn't hit his peak yet. He's nowhere near his peak. His peak's in about 3 years if his body holds up. So keep that in your pants. I keep saying pants all night. I don't know why. Max King, Moses Leota, one of the toughest guys in the comp. He's not huge. He's just like, I think King's actually bigger than him. Let's have a look. What's he weigh? Oh, he's 107 kilos and he's only 6 foot. So he's about the same size as Leo Thompson. Leo's slightly bigger. Haywood, Mitch Kenny, who is a massive inclusion for them. Like, Lussick did a good job. But Mitch Kenny, defensively, is, in my opinion, is like another prop. Haywood, I felt Haywood effort stats, and we got some stats. If you were to add up all of just a new stat, add up all of Haywood's stats and put them together, he's beaten out. He runs more supports. He does all this sort of stuff. He just puts in so much effort, this kid, and all people want to do is say, oh, he can't pass and blame him. Samuel Hughes, I felt Hughes' runs. I think he has 5 runs last week. He used really good leg work, got behind the line. I think every time he makes 10 metres and gets half of his distance through post-contact last week. Plays 25 minutes, did a fair bit of defending in that first 25 and set it up so Satili Tupanua, Kurt Mann and Lipoi Hopboy could come on and do their thing, which is exactly what they did. Now, Lindsay Smith, he's a representative class prop. Isaiah Papali'i was considered one of the best second rowers in the game at Parramatta. And he asks questions every single week. He's got a drop in. He drops a footy here and there. We're looking for a big game from Viliami Kikau, obviously. Preston is Prestomania. I think Kikau and Martin's going to be a bloody great contest. I'm really looking forward to that. And whoever wins that contest can have a huge impact on this game. And obviously Preston on Papali'i is going to be massive. And Jamin Salmon also against his old side. So all the ex-Penrith boys, except Critter, are here. And they'll be looking to take this team down. And we'll talk a bit about how that's going to happen in a moment. Jack Cogger, obviously, he played at the Dogs for a bit. It's someone whinging that we let him go. I'm like, he's great at that system doing what he does.
But they're still on the bench.
Yeah. Billy Phillips has been one that's been really impressive as well. Satili's been our best player the last 2 weeks. Obviously, we want to see Harry Hayes back this week. Sorensen's been doing some amazing stuff. And then you got Garner. Now, Tungo could be one that comes back into the side to give him a run. I think Jake Turpin's going to be, I've got a feeling he'll go in ahead of O'Sullivan if the game's sort of going maybe not quite in our favour or just where Bailey Hayward needs a rest. I think Terps is the guy for the job. And then we've got Lipoi and Freddie. AJ, Logan, and Jeffro. I don't think any of those three will come into the I think 1 to 20 is how it rolls out for the Bulldogs, unless there's a little injury for somebody within the side, like the potential that Harry Hayes may still not be ready. And in that case, I think Lipoi takes his spot, and then AJ is the one, or Jethro comes in as that extra player on the interchange bench. So there you go. That's what I think about that. AJ will debut if he can stay on the park, not get suspended, not get injured. He will make a debut this year. Finau Latu's playing in Cup again this week. He will make a debut this year if he can. Same thing, not be suspended, not be injured. They will get their go. And, yeah.
Full fitness.
Brian's asked about Jack Todd. Haven't heard much, mate. They're just obviously just taking their time, making sure he's got no headaches. He was out cold for a bit. Sutton isn't as bad as the redhead. I think the redhead is Sutton. He just wears a wig. I think DSF got suspended last week, guys. That's what I heard. I asked Gus, but I haven't checked if he answered me yet. Thank you, David. Big thanks to that, mate. 32 people watching. Well, I've got it at 64 people watching. So it depends what, if you're watching the horizontal, we get the whole lot. So that's a good amount of people watching across different things. Good call here by Andy. That pressure from Montoya forced AJ to drop the ball, which got us that second try or that third try.
Yeah.
For Tilly.
I haven't heard if this has been confirmed yet. I don't know if you have. Kind of tracing.
Well, I think Gus talked about it, so
yeah. But usually when they do, they announce it. The club announces it, then they do a press release and they do a, re-sign when it's official. But I don't know if it's been finalised yet. Otherwise, I think the club would have promoted that themselves.
It's usually 10 days after.
Calling
if he
off.
tabled it and he signs it the next day, it'll be 10 days after that they'll announce it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to click on a few?
It's all right. Brian saying the reporter actually brought up the contentious penalties first, and Ciro said that they are if you're saying they are, but I haven't. Yeah, so in the press conference he's referring to, so he was asking about contentious. He goes, well, I haven't looked back. I was in the box, but if you look back at them, and if you're saying they're contentious, then maybe they are. So there's been a lot of talk. A lot of people, I don't know about yourselves, complaining about the sort of six agains and not knowing what they're even for. Sometimes you can see it. I mean, I always sort of know when it's coming. I can see a player lying down too much, or in the case of like the other day, Viliami sort of came in, jumped on a bit early in the game against Newcastle, and you just like, he's going to give six again, bang, six again. But some people are not sure, like they're just hearing this whistle, like, or the six again call, and then the siren, the little ding. So people are asking to know more about it, but yeah.
TM Ram, g'day, Scary. Welcome to you, mate. Hope you're staying safe on the road that long. I'm normally on it like 10 hours a day, but we'll talk about weaknesses later. But no, there's no weaknesses. Hey guys, missed the first hours tonight. Rewatching from the start. No, awesome. Good to see you, Lockie.
See you Thursday, Lockie.
Players need to put in 80 minutes to restore pride in the jersey. I think they have put pride in the jersey. To me, outcomes are one thing. Dropping the ball, that sucks. But look, I want to talk about TM Ram. G'day. We haven't seen you for a while, mate. I don't think I see you when we win, only when we lose, mate. But anyway, I could be wrong. That's just my perception. I think there's some major internal issues amongst the playing group. It's pretty obvious. It's not obvious. It's what you're looking to see. You're looking for a reason for why we lost a couple of games and, in your opinion, didn't beat teams by enough. But I value your opinion because you're not the only one saying it, mate. And you might be right. But I'd like to tell you you're probably not right. I will agree that I think that Satili Tupanua or someone like that should have went up to Latrell and coat hanging him. But that's just what I would like to see. Or to actually went and grabbed Latrell around the throat and shirt front him and say, let's go, let's do it, and then not do anything, and they all come in and give each other a kiss. Because if someone actually did that,
They would have gone back.
They would have went and had a look at it, and maybe Latrell gets penalised for doing what he did to Tracy, and so on. What Tracy should have done is just stayed on the ground too, because that's the way the game's got, guys. Like, I know for a fact that Critter doesn't like any of that. Let's go and all fucking attack, start punching up. He's like, play football, keep the ref on our side, all that sort of stuff. Play smarter, have faith in your ability, stick up for your mates through playing your potential, and keep your eyes on the prize. Don't let them distract you. Don't let them get you off your game, but make sure you're doing that to them. I know there's a lot of that in our club, but these guys love each other. That's what I mean, Tiam. Tell me, how do our team prepare each week? You wouldn't have a fucking clue. And if you do, I apologise. But I'm just going to make the assumption, right? Like you are. These guys go into camp every week. They don't have their families and stuff. It's just them and the coaches and that. If there's anything that needs to be sorted out, they fucking sort it out. Right? That's the way. That's the culture. They've built a connection amongst themselves that is pretty bloody strong, and they believe they're going to win comps together, right? That's all they care about and think about. If they don't have that belief, they can't win. Just because they lost 2 games. See, people keep going back to last year. Oh, we won all these games at the start, and then Galvin came and we lost. That's essentially the narrative that you tell. Oh, we let Sexton and Marnie go and we lost. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's got nothing to do with this year. We're behind the 8 ball due to the draw and what we had to do. It means you've got to prepare differently. They are also looking at doing things a little bit differently for the fact that their bye schedule is ridiculous. It's round 2, and then it's like 2 really within 3 weeks of each other in the middle of the season. So it's still got a really long run home, like 9 or 10 game run at the end of the season. So it's a bye after 2 in round 2 after Vegas. Now, no one's saying excuses, but this is the reality. They're just behind the 8 ball a little bit fitness-wise, right? They still did all the reps and all the work for their fitness for the season, but they've got to develop that match fitness, and it's been a bit hard. And all the injuries to depth players, that also affects your preparation. When you've got players that are there in your top 30 and that, and they're training with the squad, and you're doing your opposed sessions, if you've got a lot of those players injured, you've got to bring kids from Flegg and other kids up as well to do the job right. And I'm not saying they're not doing a good job, those kids, but you do lose a bit in your preparation, right? This is the other thing people forget when they're looking at how a team's going. When you do have these injuries, but typically of our supporters, then we start going, oh, we need to sack our training staff because we're having too many injuries. That's the next thing everyone starts whinging about. Well, you can question it. Why are we having injuries? Is it we can question these things, but it just goes layer after layer after layer of whinge. We all love the club. We all wanted the club to win. We all wanted a premiership every single year since we won the last one, and feels like we're getting further away. I'm telling you, we have never been closer to a premiership than we have been the last 10 years right now. And that doesn't mean we finish second this year or win the comp because we got third on the ladder last year. We can finish 10th this year and still be a lot closer. It's about how we're getting that next group of players through, right? So if you want to sit there and be like Justin Horrow and Sharon Woods today on Triple M talking about the fractures in the group and blah, blah, bloody blah, I actually believe that they believe that too. And I know that you believe that as well, right? But I'm telling you, at 2-2 and 1 bye, sitting ninth after 4 or 5 rounds, if they're questioning themselves and don't know where the next win's going to come from and all this sort of shit, that would be a massive problem. And that would just mean we need to get some new players who are going to believe. I think it's an atrocious thought to even think that. Yeah, if they get to round 23 and they've got to win every game to make the 8 and hope for other results to go their way, that can be a bit of a time as well. Or, if they lose 8 of their first 10 games, they're probably going to start looking at each other and like, what the fuck are you all doing? But what I saw last week was effort, and a team that was on top of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who haven't had a squad like they've got for quite a lot of years, that's full of South Sydney players and juniors. I think we're not that far off. It's just obviously everyone's trying to protect their ego, and I get it because we're playing Penrith. They look like they're a 50-point team, better team than everyone else, and we're just writing that off. But I'll tell you something about it. You can clip this if you want. But the whole thing with this is the Bulldogs have a history of adversity and digging deeper than other teams have or can do. And I know that they're going to go out there on Thursday night with a chip on their fucking shoulder, and they're going to take it to the Panthers. And I'm not just talking about, I've seen this a lot, right, with this team in the last, since Serrato's come as well. I don't just think they're going to turn up there and try and defend their way to victory. I think they're going to get in their face. They're going to force Penrith to try and play things. They're going to be prepared to give away penalties. They're going to be prepared to defend their line for set after set and go further than they've had to go to defend. I think they're going to do what it takes, and they're going to take some risks as well, and they're going to score some points. Right? I believe that will happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's what I believe right now. Regardless, they're going to go out there and give their 100% their best. And if that's not good enough on the day, so be it. But they're going to give it their all. Sutton will be out there to make sure that Penrith get every advantage. So we're going to have to take him on as well. And they will. They're going to be fired up. Serrato's... he's this nice guy. He does it. He says all the stuff to media. He's got a little answer for everything. But when he's with those guys, he talks to them one-on-one. They know what their fucking role is, and they know what their expectations are. And he reminds them of why he brought them to the club, and reminds them why they're the best person for the job. And they're going to go out there and prove that. One thing that I'll tell you, the common denominator about every player that's played under Serrato that I've ever heard, that he's a man manager. He is one of these people who can coach. Now, you've got all these other people on the outside saying he can't coach attack and all that, and that's obvious and blah, blah, blah. And got the rugby league, my mate Lee Addison, who I love, the rugby league coach. He used to coach Penrith. Gus Gould sacked him, right? Not because he wasn't a coach. Gus just cleared them all out, right? And he's sitting there saying, oh, these assistant coaches are... Because they were talking to Penrith, they were talking to Cleary the other day and listened to all this great stuff that Nathan Cleary said, and then didn't refer back to any of it, and then just started talking about the current assistants at Penrith so that they can try and get them a job now somewhere else as first graders. And he was sort of drawing the line that they did the same with Serrato. I said, no, Serrato had been talked about for about 5 to 7 years prior to getting a gig. Much different, and he was loved by the playing group. Nathan Cleary has said so much stuff about Cameron Serrato while he was there, not just when he was leaving or after he left. So completely different, but that's what I mean. Everyone wants to draw this big long bow and say, oh, he made the wrong decision because he doesn't understand coaching and how to do interchanges properly. We had Paul Kent talking about that on his podcast today or yesterday with that Wackeye fella who tried to get me blacklisted on YouTube because I played 60 seconds of them talking about Galvin. Wackeye knows nothing about rugby league. They thought Toby Sexton was a, international class player the way he goes on. Maybe one day, playing for France, he might represent them. And I love Toby, don't get me wrong. But, guys, this Bulldog side can beat the Panthers. Unfortunately, the law of averages, we sort of might have to rely on that a little bit. They have to have a bad game soon. We saw did the Dragons beat the Panthers last year? Did they beat Melbourne when they were playing really well, Melbourne? And Dragons were playing shit.
Canberra.
Yeah, they beat Canberra. So teams can win games they're not expected to win. Kyle Flanagan played in that game and won as a halfback. Not saying he's shit. Just saying everyone's saying how crap he is. Well, they beat a pretty good side that day. Why can't the Bulldogs do it? So get out there, support the team, back the team. If they're down 40-0, fucking keep cheering. Stop trying to be too cool for school. Or switch it off, whatever, if you're at home. They can win, Gas. They can win. They can do it.
Mate, I wouldn't be out there with the banner otherwise, mate.
Well, how many times have the Bulldogs produced wins like this, though? Like, even under Barrett, they go out and beat the Roosters when no one expected them to.
Barrett can't coach. He's not an assistant coach. Didn't he win a grand final last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I mean. Get behind them, guys. It's all right to have hope to win and believe you're going to get there and win and then lose. Jared Wallace had to believe he was going to beat Nelson Asafa Solomona. Everyone said he had no chance. He got 2 massive punches on him, and Nelson felled him, right? I think we're a much better chance than what he was against Nelson. We got Matt Burton in our fucking team, guys. We got Lachlan Galvin. We got Viliami Kickow. Satili Tupanua.
Jacob Carraz.
We've got Jacob Carraz and Connor Tracy. We've got Marcello Montoya. Bronson Xerri's back. Get behind them, boys.
He's going to get pumped.
He's got shit to prove. He's not going to go out there and fucking let his opportunity slip, is he?
Yep.
Critter's out for months. And I'm telling you, like John O'Sura, I think he hurt his knee last week. I'm not sure. I think he's in the cup side, though. I didn't look. I will look at that shortly. Get behind this fucking team, guys. And people say Max King's not playing well. What? He's been doing it on his own. Get behind them. Believe. We're Bulldog supporters. It doesn't matter if we're coming last or first. We think we can win. Right? We're defiant. We don't sit there and roll over and go, because we're young, dumb kids and go, oh, we're going to get bum raped and all this sort of stuff. I don't even know why I would turn up and blah, blah, blah. Why would I pay to watch this? Because you're a Bulldog supporter, the team that had Mortimer and Folks and everyone in it. Look at me background here. Bulldogs forever. Terry Lamb, Steve Mortimer, Peter Bullfrog Moore, Phil Gould. was part of this club. Coach, winning coach, player. Get behind him. Sick of this shit.
The players believe they can win, mate.
That's right.
Players believe they can win. If you were at training today, you'd believe it too, guys.
That's it. They're fucking yelling. They're hungry.
They are, mate.
And they've come up against two sides that they've had in the bin for like 700 days each or something, right? Who were desperate. Well, Penrith have had a pretty decent record over us for a long time. But eventually every dog has their day. And we're not a bad football side. We're a good football side. We do a lot of things really well, and we play to the strengths we've got that we're forced to play. Until we get those dynamic positions ready and get those other things, we have to play a style, and that style can beat the Panthers. It can. And they're going to have everything's been coming up for them, mate. They've been throwing miracle balls, players that don't normally do stuff, doing stuff.
It's two double kicks for tries.
Without fear of anything. Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't just keep happening. If it does, great for them. Well done. But the law of averages is that those balls go out. They start someone drops a footy, someone gets an injury, Cleary gets knocked out, he's off after 10 minutes. Someone does something stupid, gets sin bin for it. Game can change. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Bulldogs can just come out there and play a play they've been saving up for weeks that they know they can nail against the Panthers. And they go out and do it.
Get their season running again.
Now, don't come up. Now, if it doesn't go the way that I'm wanting it to and the way that I'm talking it up, don't come in next week and blame me because we lost. Because I gave you hope. I've had that quite a few times, actually. You said we're going to win. Sorry, mate. Don't gamble. Don't gamble. What's going on here?
I'm just saying, blaming you already.
Macca said DSO, he did get charged and he's got a 1 week.
Cop
So that's another thing. Another player gets their whole comeback thwarted because they've been suspended.
Brian's referring to Connor Tracy, I think, here. Probably waiting to hear back, so maybe the cooling off. Yeah, Andy, I think he's starting to free up with his shoulder as well. So must be something with that left side, the shoulders. Before the Rabbits game, Nathan Merritt said he wants Rabbits to win. Too much narrative for my liking. The red head had a shocker and only gave a fair shake when the game was done. Yeah. It was a pretty emotional moment too when you consider, he's not been given much time, and he came out there and rang that bell. It was pretty tough to watch. Tiam saying she likes Galvin. I think the issue is our forwards and being the slowest team in the comp. She wants Kick-Out to come off the bench.
Look, Kick-Out might. Kick-Out, I talked about that last week. I think that's where he ends up as a middle through the bench, and I think it would inspire the team to have their biggest player being able to lead them through the middle and get momentum that way and have a pathway for some other guys to do some stuff on the edge.
Said's got something to say too. He said, doesn't feel like Kick-Out can sustain 80 minutes. There's a lot of times he's caught out defensively and tends to make silly high shots. And
look, I think I don't think he gets caught out. I think he applies pressure and sometimes gets stepped. But usually he sends players in 2023 on his return from injury, that happened. but the majority of the time he's applying pressure, and the players that he misses actually go into traffic. So they don't usually make breaks off a kick out, kick chase. Sometimes he chases too hard, one out, and if everyone's not with him, it can open up gaps. So I think it comes from too much effort sometimes, and I think, I think if he could control it, he would. I just think it's one of those things. It's a rocks and diamonds thing.
Yeah.
But usually it doesn't hurt us too bad. Sometimes he gets those charge downs, like he did against Penrith in the semi-final. We should have got Edwards should have been sin binned. That changes the whole semi-final, guys.
Correct. I agree.
In my opinion, it changes it massively. Do we win? Don't know. But massive decision, not in our favour. Sometimes he does a charge down when we've just defended for 5 tackles and gives the ball straight back to him in good field position, and we've got to defend got to defend again. You know, that shit happens.
Hayes to second row, kick Satili off the bench.
Oh, I'd actually have Satili on the second row, actually. Runs good lines.
Yep. To be fair, our 2 wins were tight wins over the 2 out-of-form teams in the comp. But for me, I don't agree with that. We've contributed to put in there. The Dragons have been, except for the game against the Cowboys, they've been competitive in every game. They probably should have won against, Parramatta. They should have won a few other games, but they've been there all the time. It's just they haven't got their results. And Canberra, playing them in Canberra in the rain, they're still a gun team. They still had a lot. They're going to make a good run this year as well. So
we can make that narrative. We can make that narrative now. But you're right, Gus. They played well against us.
Yes.
And as Gus said, the start of our season when it was going to be really tough was always going to be tough, and we'll be set up for a good run home. That's it, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Are we going to see you in 2 weeks, Andy, on the Friday night at Suncorp?
Anzac Day, mate. Anzac Day.
You're going to be down here, up here?
Me?
Yeah.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Let's see what happens.
That's it. Oh, mate, they've got to be prepared for the toughest game they've played in their lives this Thursday. No doubt about that.
And the Dogs, just remember, guys, the Dogs haven't lost a Thursday night game this year, so get behind them.
Yeah, that's it, Brian. So that team had Edwards, Lorby, Fisher-Harris, Moses Leota, Corey Wahiwa-Renara, who would still be playing at the top level if he didn't have that sickening injury. Who else is there? There was Braden Burns, Corey Waddell. Other players that they've had is Hammer Saleh, Matt Burton, Charlie Staines, Mitch Kenny, Liam Martin. Yo was the year before, a couple of years before Cleary and that. But yeah, they're just ridiculous, the talent they've brought through from Penrith. It's ridiculous. And they had Sonny Luke, who was actually better than most of them that year. He was the player of the year in 2015. He's now going to South Sydney or to the Cowboys. I think he went to the Cowboys, didn't he? He was supposed to go to South, but went to Cowboys. Is that right, Sonny Luke? Yep. Forward pack and Slavs back line. As I said to you, we've got who we've got, and we've got to have players who are tough and can play like forwards in the back line to help our pack. Our pack isn't shit at all. Our pack is tough and works its ass off. That's what our pack is. And we made, as I said, we made more meters, more yards than the Rabbits last week. They had a bigger pack than us with more experience in it.
So we still haven't had our best pack on the field this year yet.
We haven't had our best pack.
Exactly.
And we're developing our pack. So we just need to support the players that are there now while they warm the seats for the ones that are coming. That's all it is. And the fact that they've got to third on the ladder last year gives us a lot of hope. And they can do that again this year. They can win a comp. I'm not saying they can't. I'm saying history says you got to develop these superstars from within. And that's what we're trying to do. That's it, David. All fired up.
Cooper Toy.
He's going pretty well in cup, mate. Let's get them up there, eh?
Yeah,
I'll
actually, good game next week, yeah.
So we've got Tay Cochran at number 1, Cooper Toy, Jed Reardon and Jonathan Sewer in the centres, Jethro Rennie-Karma on the wing, Cade Dykes named at 5'8" with Alex Connie at halfback, Joey Tayalpa goes back to Jersey Flegg, Fletcher Baker and Jack Underhill starting. Underhill starting a lot more lately. Chan Kum Tong at hooker. Now, Turpin will come back to the team if he doesn't get any game time in Cup. In NRL. Grisemi's played great lately. Logan Spinks, AJ Jones as your lock. Daniel O'Donnell, replacement hooker. Sion Mayu'u, Finau Latu, and Justin Matamua, who's gradually getting his way into this team. Angus Fahey is a no-thrill sort of player looking to come through the system. Now in Flegg, we've got Raymond Peru, played well last week. Mikey Nassar, who used to be a halfback with the Roosters. Hamish Wilson, Eamon Fitzgibbon, scored a great try last week for Flegg. Sheldon Haywood, big winger with a bit of speed, tough. Ruben and Tayalpa, very good halves. Pat Carey and Leota could be anything. Patrick Young, one of the best hookers I've seen coming through. Alatini, Sasefu Finau, and Bud Smith with Latrell Fing, who's a great talent. Chase Patterson, Lincoln Cliff, and Jaden Smith as your number 17. I'm not going through Ron Massey, but there's Mark O'Mealy's son in the centres. So Sayaka Fusi's been in our system quite a while. Damon Humphreys, very, very talented. Wears the headgear. Bronson Rubin, I think, has been named in 2 sides by the look of it. Malachi Filippo, Daniel O'Donnell, Broden Cons, who played a bit of cup already, Jack Alapate, and a few of them there. We've also got our SG Ball side, which will be playing in the SG Ball semi-final, do or die against Para. They lost to them last week, and they'll be trying to reverse that result to keep their season alive. David Bryanton has left the Bulldogs, it seems, for this season.
Just on the next comment here, we need faster wingers. We missed the Fox. We struggled with our breaks. 0 chance. Montoya got gapped by AJ, who isn't known for his speed, and he's 35. I really wish you would do your research before you comment on these things. He is a known speedster, and he's only 31, not 35. So even Montoya's only he's 30, but that's his strength. It's not his speed, and not everyone's got a Fox on their team. But I think if you want to make these comments, please just do a little bit of research. Make sure you've got some information behind. But we've got Jethro coming through. We've got other players, but like Michael said a few times, at the moment, Montoya's being used as an extra forward to take the hit-ups and do what he has to do. And, last year it worked well for us. Solid, did what he had to do, scored the tries, finished off what he had to do. We're just not getting those chances at the moment. They're going to come, and he's going to look much better. So, and look, intercepts are very rarely, anyone got the jump and the run going the other way. That's it. It's a hard one to turn around sometimes. So, but yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, Galvin couldn't get to Latrell, but coming up against Penrith, no one could catch Galvin last year.
Yes.
Like, it's different. and it also comes down to the time of the game where it happens, what's just happened in the previous set, their fatigue, the whole thing. Speed isn't just consistently great. You know, they're not race horses.
Yeah.
Like Jethro, if he's got to turn and chase, and someone said he was slow the other day because they're going back to I think when Terrell Sloan ran past him and made him look slow, but he 10 meters from the line, you give him the fucking ball and show him the corner post. There's not too many people who stop this kid, and that's coming through every single grade he's been in. So speed is subjective to where it is and what happens. I'm not saying we're the fastest team. We could definitely do with some additional speed in some different parts of our team, for sure. Speed wins, but you just don't manufacture it. Why do you think we've got players doing speed training and trying to improve their speed? Because they need to.
Yep.
Right? But we just say we're the slowest and we're the smallest and we're shit. Well, I reckon we go pretty good for a side that's the smallest and the slowest. We should be coming last then all the time, if that's the case.
That's right. Timmy's fired up. He's bringing a friend who supports the Panthers. I'm guessing because Timmy lives in the Panthers territory as well, and he wants to beat the Panthers and the ref.
That's it. Fire up, Timmy.
That's it, Timmy.
Let's fucking do it, guys. Get out there and support them. Be proud of them.
That's it.
And back them to be the team you want them to be. If they don't deliver, oh, well, so next week, guys, let's do it next week. Come on. Come on. Let's do it. Not sit there and be quiet when things look scary. And I want to hear the Bulldogs chant when they're down 12-0 or 18-0. That's what we used to do back in the day. Fuck me. Oh, I look stupid if I could chant Bulldogs when we're losing. Me and my daughter, we sit there and chant Bulldogs when we're down 30-0. 3 games in a row during COVID. Right? I'm not embarrassed. I'm there to support me. I'm there to fucking help them, not the other way around. They're not there to help me. You're there to help your club. Aren't you? Is that what you think, Gus? Are you there to help inspire the boys to try and do their best, or what?
100%.
Well, fuck, I think we've raised some people that are pretty bloody, what do they call it? Entitled, isn't it? It's entitlement.
Entitled and fickle, yep.
I pay for my merch and I expect to get better. Sorry if that was wrong how I did that, but that's how it sounds to me. Some whinging, pathetic idiot.
Yeah, there's a few
Sorry for making it all about fans. Like, I know everyone pays their money. We're all raised differently. I'm bringing it back now, but please just support them. Have your opinions, but support the guys.
Let's get Preston some early good ball to terrorise the London all night. Yeah. And what are some areas you think we can find an edge?
Feels like my camera's all mixed up. There you go. Yeah. That's it, Damo. All right, guys. Where's these super chats, all right? Let's get in. We're going to want to have a draw for a $30 voucher. So if you want to throw some money, do it. Like and subscribe. You want to support the channel, buy me a coffee. Let's do it, guys. If there's something you want us to do, let us know.
Amir's not expecting to beat the Panthers. Just want to keep it tight, annoy Penrith, get on their nerves, play like a typical Bulldog as they always do.
Yeah,
sometimes it's those games you least expect. Like, last year people would have expected us to beat them the way we were playing, but this year the way things have panned out. No one's expecting it. So it's just going to be, even for Panthers, naturally, even for them, as much as they want to lift, and there's going to be that little drop off where they just feel like if we play the way we've been playing, they're not going to stand a chance.
That's it.
And they're going to go out there and just try to roll with their usual plays and hope that everything pans out and we fall over. And that's when we have to pounce. So Talofa Lava, my brother, up the Dogs. Can't wait for Thursday's game. Happy Cherry starting. Sorry if you've already covered this, but any update on how long Critter is off for? It depends on who you're listening to. Some are saying 4 to 6 months. Some are saying 6 to 8 weeks. So it depends on who you're listening to. It's and because it's a AC on the shoulder, it's it was the worst grade to grade 5. It just depends on the player as well. So I know that. I saw Critter today. He was already doing the rehabs. He's already into it, starting his rehabilitation. It's going to be a long process for him, but some players recover faster and they can still play, before it's fully healed, because it's sort of a hard one to sort of operate on, etc. So yeah, we're not all doctors and everything, but yeah, there's a lot of opinions out there, but I don't think we'll know for a couple of weeks to see how he starts to feel before they get an idea. But I do know that Leo Thompson is getting closer and closer, guys. So he looked good today.
Yeah, I reckon round 8 or round 9. I think round 7 might be a bit. I reckon maybe the Broncos or the Cowboys.
I reckon at least 3 more weeks. So let's see how that goes.
But
don't want to rush him. You want to get him ready to go.
Someone was asking about Daniel O'Donnell. He came from South Sydney, mate. He was playing for South Sydney last year, and he goes all right. Yeah, get off that one. Chen Kum Tong's been all right. He's had a bit of an up and down start of the season. I think trying to get him fit. He's sort of going between starting and the bench. I felt when he come off, he's had some good moments. Like he's made some breaks and played tough and been pretty good in attack. Defensively, he doesn't mess around. He's got lots of energy. I still think he's got a bit of work to do, though. I don't think he's anywhere near first grade standard at the moment, but hopefully he'll develop into that for us. Critter, did you say Critter's off for a while?
Yeah, I spoke about that, mate.
All right.
Get your hands off. Get your hands off. We've already done all those. You just answered those.
AJ's intercepted or outrun many players in NRL as a try scoring record for a reason. 100%, Brian. I know. And then Gus had to get pretty, full on with that response. Nice comment by Ryan up next there, brother.
Most other wingers in the same position Montoya was in when he scored would have been tumbled into touch. 100%. I think I made comment about that on Saturday. Not many would have scored that try that he scored. So, Tawala gave him that ball with zero expectation, and Montoya turned it into a try under the post, not just got over, put it under the post, guys. So, not many would have scored that try and showed the upper body strength. So, most of them would have been bundled. Maybe one of the few, like a Toto or someone, could have potentially done that, but not many. Timmy's been singing again. What have you been singing, Timmy?
I don't even like to let the dogs out, Timmy. Sorry, I just. But if you love it, I love it. I love it too, Timmy.
Not happening, Timmy. Not happening, buddy.
Gus sings songs like "Take My Breath and Astra Away." When he's driving home, then he gives me a ring and
I'll put the 80s on, mate. I'll put the 80s on, mate.
That's it.
80s ballads, classics. Come on, mate. Get with it. You and your grunge.
He sings about Jared Sutton.
You can't even hear. No wonder you're deaf. Bloody hell.
He's singing. Buddy, what's Lady in Red. He's singing about Jared
Krista
Sutton.
Berg. Oh, Krista Berg. That's a good song.
Lady in red and green.
Everyone's jealous, guys. Look at them. Everyone's jealous.
Sutton loves South Sydney. And you bet
Just
you he
because
loves
you don't have a
Melbourne.
romantic bone in your heart.
Mate, look at these blue eyes, brother. Did you love me AI picture on the intro? I don't even have blue eyes.
Oh, my God.
I look pretty.
We got the
We got
best
the best
in
of
the
the critical list. Oh, sorry, bud.
You're right. Critter will miss 6 weeks max. Anyway, let's see what happens.
G'day, Lockie.
Critter will be putting in the work, come back early from whatever timeline he gets. That is a player like his mind. Yes, mate, I agree.
His mindset. Yep.
He will want to get back out there fast, mate. 100%. Like his mindset. Yes, agree, mate.
I'm lost in love, but I don't know much.
No, what was that song in Mr. and Mrs. Jones? Making love out of nothing at all. Isn't that Air Supply?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cracking song. I once listened to that for like 12 hours straight. So on you, Andy. Love it.
Let's go,
We've
Johnny.
got this Release the Hounds. So what's your areas of beating the Panthers, mate? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to have to do the Dogfather's keys to victory tomorrow at some point and release those. But
Give us an insight into what might be coming, mate. Get them excited.
I think the boys have just got to be prepared to go out there and play like Bulldogs of the past. They have to stand up for each other. They can't let Moses Leota bully him in the middle. They can't let Hayward and Galvin get isolated on edges and just be allowed to be picked out. They have to get in there. If they've got to give away a penalty or whatever and give away repeat sets, they just have to go out and prove that it doesn't matter. Right? They need to be able to get in there, but they have to play footy. And not be fearful of failure. That's the main thing. And the fact of the matter is, I know that's exactly what they'll be told about. But Serrato will have them believing in the process. They know they can defend this team. They know what their roles are. But I think what we also need to be seeing big time is Birdo, Kickow, and Cherry and Carraz on that left edge. They need to be coming in a line together. They need to create space for each other. And they have to base it off run. Right? Just keep running all day. Run, fucking run. And then maybe pass. Not the other way around. Not try and finesse their way around the park and play these, Look, they'll have some moves in there. They'll be watching. Kenny will be sitting there watching Hayward like a hawk. He's going to be sitting there expecting Hayward to do that inside ball. We got him last year with this Preston try, right? It was off a similar type of play. The one that we got against Canberra, right, where Preston scored again off the second phase, where Galvin got caught. We actually caught Penrith out with that last year. So they'll be all over that play. And they'll be all over versions of that play, knowing we're probably going to do it at different points. They're going to be trying to come in on Carraz and stopping his second phase and trying to put him off his game. I think they'll really try to. Teams I've noticed that's what they're trying to do with Jacob Carraz this year. But we have to play to our strengths. Look, we've got a great left edge, but to be fair, if I'm going to be critical of our team ever, it's never stood up to the level that we've sort of thought it would consistently. So, but usually in these games, our coach has had us produce things that the opposition team sort of haven't been ready for. Now, you think that Penrith would be all over Serrato in this case, but this is where Adam O'Brien maybe earns his money a little bit with some things that we get to see this week. And I think it also comes, we'll get some surprises out of Tuala and Montoya as well. It's through hard work, it's through chase, it's through doing all those little things. It's keeping that second run from To'o. They have to hit him harder. They have to, it's easier said than done, but they've got to restrict, they can restrict him an extra metre every time he runs. That's going to help us a lot because he just makes these meters. Someone needs to take it up to Moses Leota in the middle. But if they do that, they can't then let fucking old Bond mate come in afterwards and make up for it. But for me, for Penrith, the danger is always in these other guys, these ones that you've got all their big names that you want to watch, but they always bring these other guys into play. We've got to do that. Bailey Hayward's got to do something out of dummy half that they don't expect. Tuala's got to do something that they don't expect. It's these guys, right? It's Jamin Salmon's got to come in with something that they don't expect.
I think Birdo's kicking game is going to be huge for us as well. Birdo's going to have to reassume that, like, he's going to have to take over more of those kicks because he gets a lot more depth and height on his kicks than Galvin does. And it allows us to get really
kicks were good
down
last
there.
week. I still felt Galvin did a really good job last week.
No, he doesn't. He did a good job, but I just feel like Birdo's just a little bit extra height, gets our defense a couple of meters closer when they get the ball, and then we can start limiting their sets a little bit more. So, I just like the positioning and everything was good. I just feel like the height that he puts on it and the precision. I think it's going to come down to him getting sort of back in that ascendancy as well. And I think he may need to throw up a couple of those Birdo spirals as well, just to throw things off a bit as well. Because if he just does a regulation stuff the whole game, and I know that Edwards is really good at taking those bombs, but I think he's going to have to throw them up there just to keep them on their toes and throw the game. You know, we can't just expect to do the same thing and get the same results. We need to try a few different things to move things around. And then I feel the biggest thing for us is going to be we're going to need to play a lot more second phase play in this game. So offloads, we're going to have to try to increase our offloads and try to be – I mean, look, I know Penrith will try to wrap up obviously a lot more and limit that, but it's going to be up to our guys to try to create that second phase, which is where I feel like we play our best football at the moment from all of those sort of second phase plays off the offloads. And we're going to have to start that early in the game rather than wait till we're behind late in the game.
What I will say is this. Perdo actually has been doing his bombs this year a bit more. So he actually did it early in the game last week. I think he did it the week. I think he did it the week before as well. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that, it's good to get it deep, but I think the line needs to – it's all right to let Edwards run 20 metres, if that makes sense. If they get their line right and they make sure they don't let any late offloads come out of yardage ourselves, I think that's what we need to control big time. Because I think we're still not there with fitness. And if we just try and out fitness Penrith, you don't beat them. That's playing their own game. They're the best at it. We're not the best at it yet. We can be as good, but we're not the best at it yet. They can outgrind us. All right, so we have to do it differently, in my opinion. We have to do other things, and I reckon they'll have something up their sleeve. I really do. I also think with our offloads, that's where they expect to probably trap us, and they know that that's our bread and butter sort of thing. So I think
it's still hard to defend, though.
Oh,
it's
it
still
is.
hard to defend. You give yourself enough chances with it. We're still going to create a lot more than we're not going to create by having it in our game as well. It's been working for us, for the last 18 months. It's given us sort of the most sort of impotence whenever we've done anything. It's been the best thing. So
I think it's got to come from other players, though, not the traditional ones.
Correct.
Is my point.
This is why we spoke about Max King the other day and a few of these other players that have kind of put away. Even if you look, I saw a stat earlier. I mean, Lockie Galvin had 53, I think it was 53 or 55 offloads in his time in the 31 games he played with Tigers. And in the 18 games with the Bulldogs, he's done less than
12.
10. Yeah.
He had 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So big difference in that too. So I know his position is different, but it, like you said, if it comes from other players, but that's why I'm saying it needs to come from as many as possible safely. You know, you don't want to be just popping offloads along the ground and you know, losing possession. It needs to be kind of the way that we do it now, where they're coming out, you know, straight into someone's hands and then bang, off we go again. You know, so it's going to be, there's a lot of options. I'm sure that, you know, between, you know, Seraldo and the coaching staff, they're working on everything they need. And maybe, to be honest with you, maybe having sort of the captain Critter not there is a blessing. Maybe that opens up different areas for us, you know, like, and you know, for now, and we can become better at covering that, because for the next period of time now, it's going to make Xerri and Tuala a lot better players not having him in the team. And everyone will have to, you know, step up themselves rather than rely on the captain to step up for them. So, you know, we're going to miss his runs this year. He's been very strong, especially his post-contact running the ball. He's been very, very strong this year. But you know, and we know he's got that X factor like he did against the Dragons with that scrum play, and obviously kicking the field goal. But yeah, he's going to be missed. But next man up, and we move on. You know, it is what it is.
Look, I think Adam O'Brien is, from what I could see, he's good at developing combinations in players. So working on like little groups of combinations where players have worked well together. I've felt that Newcastle's attack was at its best when Ponga had that connection with Fitzgibbon on the edge. And that really opened it up. And it was sort of a similar sort of combination that Jonathan Thurston used to have with that other, I forget his name, on the left edge as well at the Cowboys. I felt that
tall guy, and I can see his face, but
yeah, Cooper, yeah, Cooper was his surname. Yeah. He came from the Panthers, actually. He was in the Panthers system.
Yeah.
So he's pretty systematic, and I actually felt like Newcastle were a pretty good defensive team, really. But he also has a lot of work, like having forwards do a lot of work together, offloading in the line, that sort of stuff. Some of that old school stuff as well. Obviously, that, you know, he's got that time from Melbourne, so able to learn a lot with that combination of players and inside balls and that craft from dummy half. And I've noticed Haywood playing. I just see that little Cameron Smith he's sort of darting sort of diagonally out. And sort of bringing players onto the ball a little bit and then changing the point of attack. And I think he'll get better and more confident in that. And, you know, start turning the balls in like a half and like an extra half on the field as well. He's sort of in that development phase. And I think AOB will definitely help with that. Yeah, look, it's a funny one because Adam O'Brien, I felt the criticism I had of him was he used to like just changing the halves too much, scapegoating the halves. And I think that come down to just pressure in the end. I think he's an asset to he has to be. He's coached in the NRL, coached a team to 4 final series out of 6 years. The last year, I think he checked out. The team had checked out a bit as well. And look, they played tough with injuries for many games, and they were in close losses, and then it just falls apart eventually. You just sort of give in at the end because you've sort of like Barrett's Bulldogs. They battled hard for about 6 or 7 rounds, and then they just started to give in. And I also say that about the Dragons this year. They've battled hard, and now it also fell apart the other day. You know, they weren't that bad against us. If we played the Cowboys on the weekend, the Dragons on the weekend, we put 30 on them as well, no doubt in the world. We smashed them because they've just lost confidence and they're losing belief in what they believed they were going to do when they went away to Vegas. They had a lot more belief when they played us, put it that way. So, yeah, I think O'Brien's, I think he'll have messages to the right people. He'll be having them believe that they just need to stick to working on the things they've been working on. I think we saw some really nice shifts down the edges to start the year, where we got around the Dragons and that sort of thing, but on that small field, and probably not having the fastest wingers of all time meant that we didn't quite get the outcomes on those plays, but there seemed to be a lot of different variations in what we were doing. We just haven't executed it that well. Like even that last play where we saw Salmon, you know, you think he's going to go right back towards the post, but he goes left back to Tracy, and Tracy pulls away and scores, you know, like, I don't know. I think as individuals, he'd be doing a lot of coaching, because as a head full-time coach, and you know about this, Gas, the full-time coaches do a lot of one discussions about where the players sit with all their KPIs and everything. They get the players talking about where they feel they are, where they've been executing things the right way, where they've failed in themselves, what they feel they need to work on. And they have their buy-in a lot of the time, right? And I think AOB would be very good at those discussions, having been a head coach. Like a head coach doesn't get in there with not these days. If they're proper coaches and they've learned anything about the Bellamys and the Bennetts, and I'm sure Serrato would have read all their books. It's about, you know, and I'm sure Adam O'Brien, the same thing, coming through the Bellamy system, coming through the Robinson system. They don't just sit there and tell everyone on a fucking whiteboard how to do everything and go to a video session and go, you do this and you do that and you do this and you do that. It's all about one-on-one discussions a lot of time, and then having the players really have buy-in to what they're doing as well. And I think that's where they'll get a lot of our belief in our attack, is that they execute these things at training. They're excited about it. They're happy about it. They go out there and they execute. And I'm sure as the coach, what they're going to be telling them is that they might not get the outcome sometimes, but the fact that they nailed most of what they were doing, you could see it works. If you get that pass right at the end, you failed with that pass for whatever reason, you've got to fix that. Or we're having other conversations later on. But the play was right. The process was right. The execution was wrong. So I'm not going to attack you for that. You can see it's going to work. You just have to get that last pass. And, yeah, I think it's a lot of that stuff. I'm sure that he would have, that the players would be very accepting of his knowledge in that space. Now, if it gets to the end of the year and they're not nailing those plays and it's not working, well, that's when assistant coaches and that find another home and whatever else. All right. And then sometimes it doesn't work with every team and every club. But we're in 5 rounds, guys, and I think let's give this coaching team the time they need to work it out. And if they've got to change course or go to a plan B or a plan C, so be it. But I think they'd be there'd be a lot of boxes that they're ticking, that they're happy with, that they need, and there's just these other things they need to keep improving on. And some of that just might be through fitness, for example.
Have you got any stats, mate?
Oh, sorry, I did. I'll get the stats out and then we'll let everyone go. So you talk for a bit, buddy.
Andrew's still got a few more comment reading online. Discord people seem to suggest he put the shackles on Kai Peace Paul, and since he left, he's looked a different player, different team as well, different structure. But yeah, Gavin Cooper.
Yeah, I'd also say that's a little bit, that commentary they've made is a little bit short-sighted, because first-year players from England tends to take them a little while, you know. And I felt that he was one of the players that actually stood up with the aggression and the energy, especially against the Bulldogs when we looked all over him.
Yeah.
He played well against us, Kai Pearce-Paul, and I also just think he's playing with a side that's ascending versus a side that are sort of, where the coach and the playing group has sort of had enough of each other, if you know what I mean, which is natural after that period of time where they think we're probably not going to get to where we were, if that makes sense. And we've battled hard and we just need a new voice in the room. Like, that happens at every club. It's only a special few coaches who, and that's why Adam O'Brien's gone back to being an assistant and doesn't have a full-time gig at the moment. He might get there again one day. But I think Kai Pearce-Paul is more of a product of a new system, confident, where the back rowers are all offloading and there's youth everywhere and they've got no fear to try things. They're all playing like they've got the Benji Marshall step in them. You know, they're playing like they can score from anywhere on the field. Good on them. That's great. I love seeing it. I love the game the other night. What a great game. West First Parramatta, Easter Monday.
Great game.
And then we're going to bring Parramatta there and grind them and you know, beat them by more. But here's some stats, guys. So, recent scoring trends. Jacob Preston has scored 5 tries in the last 3 games, scoring at least once in all 3 games played against Penrith in 2025. Paul Alamotti has scored 4 tries in his last 2 matches against the Bulldogs. He also scored for the Dogs against the Panthers during our 44-18 loss in 2023. Galvin has scored a try against the Panthers in his last 2 matches. Matt Burton has kicked 16 from 17 against the Panthers, and he'll probably be our kicker this weekend. And the Panthers have won 9 of the last 10 matches against the Bulldogs, with our only win against a reserve grade side last year. Now, the Bulldogs ended an 8-game winning streak against Penrith against those juniors. So they'd won 8 in a row before then. Taking out that game in the semi-final, and the biggest winning margin between 2024 and the round 17 game in 2025 was 6 points. Interesting. Galvin plays his 50th game. Yes. Where's that anywhere? Made up stat of the week. If you were to combine all the stats for effort areas, kick pressure, support play, kick chase, line speed, and making first contact as a defender, Bailey Hayward leads the competition in all those stats added together. Some more stats here. Biggest winning margin for Penrith is 42 points in 2020. And for the Bulldogs, it was 26 in 1980, the year that we won the comp. The most points scored in a match, Penrith 52 in 2008 when we come last. And Bulldogs scored 46 in the year we won the comp in 2004. Girdler scored 24 points in 97 as their highest point scorer. And Hazem El Masri, 22 points in 2004. Most tries in a match is 4. That belongs to Bernie Lowther for the Dogs in 1974 and Luke Rooney for Penrith in 2008. Now, Bernie Lowther was a Kiwi international, a big centre who had an injury-riddled time with the Dogs, sort of didn't have the best attitude apparently, but missed out on the grand final loss that we had, I think, the Souths in 1974. where Bob McCarthy got the intercept. Is that right? Something like that happened.
That was 67. The intercept was in the 60s.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I've forgotten. Thank you for those stats, D. Really appreciate it, brother. He's like any stats this week because he put a lot of effort into them. So.
Actually, hang on, one more. Let me see this one. Andy's saying, how about we go out there and make it personal with the Panthers and Broncos? Give us back what's ours.
That's it. That's it, Andy. Fucking get out there. Stand up for your mates.
I think maybe my curiosity is how much can actually be an applicable template on a team when someone like Lockie gets so many touches but plays so instinctively. Lots of shape across the comp, looks the same.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I think Lockie, the more practice makes perfect. The more touches he's going to get, the more he's going to sort of learn and evolve. He's going to see as these scenarios unfold and where he misses opportunities. I just think it's about development. And I don't really think we've got the answer in anyone else as a first grader right now. That's because we're going in deep with Mitch Woods and his halves academy bunch that are coming through and competing hard with each other. And we're going to lose a few of those kids, unfortunately. But, dude, Macca, you know about Joey Taiapa. He's your boy, you know what I mean? And Alex Connie, how happy they are with him and how well he's coming along. Forget that Braith's his manager. He's a good halfback. And Mitch, his body will get right eventually. And we got Galvin there now, and he's playing his 50th game. 50 games for Galvin.
20-year-old.
20 years old. He's on track to do what a lot of other players, well, not many players have done.
Is it possible to even have every side be an attacking juggernaut? Surely you're at the behest of your cattle, creating half a yard for Marcelo is different than Josh Adokar.
Of course. But with Josh Adokar, what do you lose? Like if we can't maintain the defensive output and Josh Adokar gets caught with the ball on his own line, we're starting sets from a lot further back, and you need someone always to be able to get you out of that. Whereas from a attacking point of view, Mars is actually, with the energy he takes out of the opposition through his carries and stuff, we've been able to get into better positions on the field where it hasn't been, whereas Burton's actually been able to control his kicks and set us up to actually put teams under a lot of pressure and play this really tough game of rugby league. Like, that's just what it comes down to. You know, I'm actually not enjoying these 38-24 score lines. Like, I've much more enjoyed watching Bulldogs beat St. George 15-14. Like, yeah, me heart's I probably had to go and get me heart pumped after the end like everyone else, but it's just a better game of footy to me. This manufactured need to have high scores, it's just catering to this entitlement, in my opinion. And that's why we have people just running their mouth out about attack. Now, I'm not saying that's you, Macca, because Macca, you think so deeply on every level of the game. It's you make people think about things that they don't think about, and that's the same with me sometimes, I guess, is what I've been told. But we're trying to look at it from how can the boys improve? What have we got to look forward to, you know? What's the next step in the journey? Can this be our moment now, you know? Well, it's hopefully.
Never say never. Never say never.
Love you, mate. Love you, brother.
Just to be clear, not trying to be critical of him or the coaches. Clearly, smart operator, knows his shit, just curious. All good. Damo, what do you got? Dogs looked the best when Sicilian men came on, but we need that from the beginning.
Yeah, but Damo, I'll bring that back a little bit. The reason they're able to do that is because what we did in the beginning. Because our guys do their work so hard, they take the energy out of the opposition. Now, I know we would love to see our boys dominating through the middle in the beginning, and we usually do it through our defense, but I know we want to see our boys knocking down the door from the start. It's the hardest time to do it. And the problem is people, because they see Satili and Man and that do that, they're continually saying these guys need to start. Well, you saw what Moses Leota did to Tupanua in the semi-final. He made him look like he was a centre playing in the middle against a seasoned middle. And people have so quickly forgotten that. You know, maybe he will do better if that's what he's got to do. And if we lose players out of our squad through injury, he might have to take that role on to give the boys some confidence out there. And he might be able to take the hits. But I can tell you, if Tupanua starts in the middle every week, he'll be a broken man in about 5 weeks, in my opinion. But you bring him on after that energy's out of the game, he's one of the best at the moment of bringing that energy. He's our Spencer Lenu.
You know who used to do that very well? Gordon Tallis.
Yeah.
He was a super sub, mate. They used to bring him on, the Raging Bull. He used to come out. It wasn't a good starter, but they bring him out there when the game was, a little bit juicy and everyone sort of got a bit, and then he'd come out with fresh legs and just go bang, bang, bang.
Towards the end of his career.
Yeah, majority of it. Like when he was there, he did that a lot.
Because he used to be on the edge.
On the bench. Yeah, but he started a lot of games on the bench. Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Satili's not in the start of his career, so yeah.
Well, Satili's not old either. He's not old.
We want to get the best out of him now. That's why. So now that he's got a lot more fitness under his belt this year, I think he's starting to have a bit more belief in his game, and we can see by the last 2 weeks, even though we haven't got the result, he has been the most consistent player, and his energy's been super high. So that's going to just give him confidence.
And as his fitness gets better, he doesn't drop the ball.
Correct.
Because that's one of the things that happens to Satili when he gets fatigued. He has a look or he knocks on. But, even Critter had a look last week and knocked on.
Yeah.
But that's not because the playing group's fractured or because no one's listening to him anymore and it's all bullshit and all that.
Yeah.
Because he had a fucking look. Happens. And then he got injured. Good call here. Next up by Brian, mate.
Yeah.
I think Galvin needs a few more people pushing up in support to get his offloads back up. Good call out, Brian. I agree with that, mate. 100%. I think that's what we need. We need that player he's a player who can do offload in the line. So, and Macca follows up here saying they say he runs too much, but what I say is 20-year-old halfback isn't afraid to contact against anyone, and he'll get it right eventually with reps, and he'll continue to build his frame. And that's it, Macca. I see him as our 13 purely from that fitness point of view. I think he reads the play well, which he'll get tougher and tougher at making the defensive tackles. He'll learn to tackle with people really well, and he'll gain a lot of confidence by the fact he's starting to absorb that contact in defense and put people on their ass. And it's taken all of those runs because he's not playing the stupid play, which is predetermining I'm going to pass this football when it's not on, which he was doing at different times under fatigue, and like last year, and there's a couple of games where he just threw the ball. Even at the start of this year, he did it a couple of times. Where he's engaged the line, just predetermined he was going to pass and threw the pass anyway. Whereas the last 2 games, I've actually seen him hold onto it and take the medicine. So Oh, g'day, James. Long-time supporter of all things Bulldogs and talking to us. But I think that's just another narrative thing that you're looking at. Don't worry, there'll be thousands of people who agree with you, but that's just, to me, they're making everyone unhappy to make the halfback happy. Like, honestly, no. If you believe that our club first mantra is called Galvin first, yeah, I just don't know what to say to that. I can't articulate it anymore. Maybe go watch the rest of the show if you want. Because yeah, I've already covered that answer numerous times. Like, that's just that's the Galvin effect. That's what people are talking about. Like, we've sacrificed everything that we were going to win a comp, but we made it all about one player. No, the fans have made it all about one player and the media did it. Leave the fucking kid alone. Honestly, that's not supporting him. That's not supporting our club. Do you really think the players are unhappy because Galvin's at halfback? They were shuffling players around last year because they were trying to improve our team to win a comp. No other fucking reason. Because they knew that they weren't going to get a comp through Sexton. They weren't going to offer him a new deal. And they were losing Reid Marnie because of the opportunity he had and the fact we didn't see him the same way he saw himself. It's as simple as that. And he might be right about himself and we might be wrong. Can wear that. But this shifting bullshit, Matt Burton's not unhappy. If you go down and watch him train and tell me they're unhappy, mate, go and watch him train. That'll connect you with the guys. It'll reconnect your brain a little bit. Get off the social media. Don't even listen to us. Whatever it is, go and actually have a look at the bloody team and think if you can actually go and say that to the guys. Say, hey, guys, you look like you're disconnected because you're all trying to make Lachlan Galvin happy. Like, they look at you and go, what the fuck are you talking about, mate? I'm just trying to bring it to actual reality. They're not on a game, on a movie or a computer game. And I'm not saying everything's perfect either. I'm not saying people don't get pissed off or have bad games. I'm saying that what you just said, the media are happy to say that, and so is half the NRL fan base. Give the kid a break, man, and give our club a break. Fuck me. I know you didn't even say that very disrespectfully, but I'm reacting because I just think it's absolute toxicity to suggest that grown men in a game of rugby league who have sponsors who all want to win and win a rugby league premiership, and you think they're making it about one player in our team happy? That's a lack of awareness, a lack of humanity, and just a lack of intelligence. But anyway, I'm fat, mate, and I'm not the smartest person in the room either. So you're probably way more intelligent than me, but come on, man, give it a fucking break. Halves historically with a powerful running game go into their shell and find it hard to bring it out in games. Too often too sideways. Joey talks about Munster struggling to balance his game still. Yeah, I know. And Matthew Johns talks about Munster like he's the best 5'8" of all time, which shits me. Very good player. But Munster's game running sideways is part of Munster's. It's doing that sort of shit against the grain, trying to find a way, which makes him, that's his greatest asset.
And the fact that he's strong.
And he's strong and he wins. That's right. He's so determined to break that tackle, and seen a bit of that in Kurt Mann recently too. It's like, you're not getting me. Change the point of attack.
That's it. I think Galvin will be our 13 when Woods is ready. And if we keep Birdo from the NFL, which is a big positive of him going, I think
Well, if he can earn $2 million to go to
Stupid
NFL, mate,
ball.
and kick the football, that's a pretty cruisy life, man.
Maybe after his career, mate, kicking the ball, he can still be fit and do that after
I think Birdo is our best player.
100%.
But he hasn't made a try assist since round 74 last year. And yeah. Most stuff that happens around our team has something to do with Matt Burton.
Yeah. He doesn't need
Great
to try
footballer.
He doesn't need to try assist with his scoring on himself, mate.
Best six in our team, and right now is probably the best centre in our team as well. I'd say he's our best player right now. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I love you too, Brian. You worked it out, buddy. I reckon this teddy bear's probably a little bit smarter than me.
I reckon Harry Hayes, mate, is smart. He's in the room with you, mate.
Harry Hayes, he'll be watching tonight. He always watches All Things Bulldogs on a Tuesday night, 7:30.
So what episode is this today, mate?
Oh, now we've got the St. George support. G'day, Jag from St. George. How you going, mate? You supporting the Dogs yet? Did you know? I'll tell you something that's funny, Jag. There's a whole bunch of supporters who wanted Shane Flanagan to come to this club, and when they talked about Gutherson and Valentine Holmes and Damien Cook and I think Moses Sully, Luciano Leilua, even one day I think they were saying we should get Blake Laurie. And I'm not putting shit on these players, but there's a lot of Dogs fans who want to sack Serrato and Gould, but would have preferred that we got Shane Flanagan and all those players at some point. Anyway. That's stupid. Kyle Flanagan's a much gutsier player, in my opinion. Sean's probably got a better brain, but I'd rather Kyle defending on an edge than Sean.
Isn't it the only game he hasn't played? They haven't scored a point, and they weren't competitive. And they weren't competitive.
The problem with Kyle, he's got this predetermination about his kicking game. Shane needs to play Kyle as he's 14. Start him at 9, for the first 25 minutes. Bring Liddell or Cook off the bench as this, next and play that similar style. That's what they've got to do. Kyle's better when he doesn't think, where he just gets out there and just, instead of trying to finesse players onto the ball, turn them back inside and trying to be the man, he just needs to get it from dummy half, take a run, get away, quick play the ball, get a try out of dummy half the next play. Kyle's not a bad footballer, man. You don't play 100 games in the NRL. He didn't play 100 games because of his dad. He's played 100 games because he's been a solid, dependable option. And there's other coaches and assistant coaches in that organisation that are telling Shane that Kyle's the right man for the job. It's the hardest thing to do is to coach your own son.
And the players too. The players will tell you as well. Like the leadership team and the players, they know who they want and don't want in a team. They make it quite clear to a coach if they want it. So if he was not going to be there on his own merits, then he would not be there.
And until those young guys can defend like Kyle, he's just occupying a space right now.
Yeah.
You got some good talent in that team, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Cade Reed, King Tonga, bloody Pacific Tonga, the big fella.
Yeah. The forwards, mate. The forwards, the young blokes are coming through as well.
Number 13.
Yeah.
Hamish Shebb.
Yeah.
Hamish
the
Stewart.
brothers and everything. Like, there's a lot of talent coming through.
The fans need to shut their fucking mouths and just let them develop these kids and get them into that side because they're going to compete hard. Maybe Shane Flanagan's not the answer, but anyway, thanks to All Things Dragons. I don't think they're babying him, mate. I just think it's about the balance of the side, Macca.
The media does, mate. The media tries to create that narrative, mate. That's all.
Dragons are going to go out there and smash Manly this week. You watch. Allah's boot. That's it, mate. For who? That's what I say. So who's gonna take us to the next step in the journey? No, we're not nervous, mate. They're going to go out there and play like Bulldogs and win or lose. We're on a journey. We're not Penrith. We're not where Penrith is. We will be one day.
And if the Panthers play like the Dragons, we're a chance to win.
That's it, Brian. Gould will help the players get the best result they can if we can't keep them. That's it. But guys, super chats this week. So we're sitting at $21. We'll take that into our next episode or next live that we do. And once we get to 100, then we do the draw. It was at 50, but if we might start looking at pay ID, and that way we can do it a bit less and whatever else, do better prizes. So there'll be no draw tonight, guys. So we'll carry that on. I've got my little spreadsheet. We've got Lucas, Andy, and Brian in the draw so far. Anything else to talk about before we go? Nearly been going 3 hours, and I think I've said.
Bring on Thursday night, mate. Bring on Thursday night. That's all we can say.
Big thank you to all the intelligent comments, and thank you to people who love the club and are seeing with their eyes things that are making them feel really vulnerable about the club and where it's going. I get it, mate. I get it, guys. Just stick to the process. If it's not this year or not next year, the year after, it'll be the year after that. One game at a time. Let's just do it, guys. Bulldogs to beat the Panthers, 16 points to 4 in a massive upset on Thursday night football. In any conditions, they're going to go out there and fucking go hard against the Panthers. Who's with me, people? Who's with me? That's it, Allah's boot. 100%, brother.
That would probably give your, yeah.
I'll give you my phone number, guys, next week. And that's what you can pay to from then on. If you want to, you can do the super chat or pay the pay ID, whatever you want to do. Yeah, overly. That's what I mean. Like, and that's the thing in the media there, brother. It was Gould blames the doctor. Paul Flanagan, you know, and I don't even know Melbourne got flogged by 50. I don't think I heard anything about that yet, or did we? I haven't watched, to be honest. I just saw headlines and went, fucking hell, it's about the Bulldogs again. Oh, mate, if we hold the Panthers to 4 points, I'd also be happy. But look, fuck it. I think there's a you play the game 100 times. I reckon there's a scenario where we can beat them 18 points to 4. I really do.
All good, guys.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, people. We've gone about 3 hours tonight, and it's time for bed. Thank you to you, Gas. Stick around for Prestomania, the hit song. If you haven't heard it before, check it out. It's on YouTube. Every view on it gives me about 0.5% of a cent. So let's do it. Thank you, guys. Go the Dogs.
Lost in darkness, the Bulldogs lost their way. Losing everything and forgot how to play. Along came the kid with long blonde hair. His name is Jeff Preston, do not despair. as we hang our heads in shame. There's indeed left us without a blue sky, and more scapegoats to blame, but the rival of Presto and a new hungry Bulldogs breed will leave these nightmare memories for dust as they look for opponents to meet. Doggies fans, are you ready? We're ready, yes we are ready, ready. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Presto mania, mania, mania. Presto mania, 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 mania. Presto mania, mania, mania. He came in 2023. He won all the awards and embarrassed some frauds or free, tackling until his last breath, running harder than much bigger men. Prestomania has led the way. Prestomania is here to stay. Prestomania, mania, mania. Prestomania.